Gaming news today is all about updates. First, the GTA 6 leaks continue to develop. New claims this morning from a new group. They have a dev kit, playable builds, employee data, but also an Xbox graphics capture file that contains 3D models and map height data. And literally, the reason I'm starting later than I was trying to start this morning for you guys is more stuff happened. I had a whole script. I was ready to go. The leaker went quiet, and then he dropped another leak. The lingering question is, will Rockstar change any of their plans with respect to marketing? Second, the God of War TV show has a new casting decision for Kratos, and it's somebody that many of us expected, but what about the rumors for the other cast members? Third, the Duskbloods network test has been canceled for today, but the silver lining is the hands-on previews were pretty positive. However, the gameplay that is available continues to draw concern about performance with respect to latency and consistent FPS. Now, if you're watching this later, we have been covering the GTA 6 leaks fairly heavily. I put up a video last night essentially saying it looks like they're about to have everything. It continues to feel like it's going to get worse. Now, if it's contained, if nothing major happens, I still stand by sort of my suggestion that this should be a scorched earth marketing plan from Rockstar to fix this. We're going to continue, to try to monitor this and cover this. Now, I also cover variety gaming news. If you enjoy that, if you like having sort of a podcast, radio show, gaming thing to listen to every day, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on the shows. And you can help us with our weekly goal by becoming a member and help us with our big goal of having 600 people on YouTube paying for their membership. We have about 520, which is excellent, and we're trying to grow that user group. And then also we're trying to get the community in the Discord is really where you want to hang out. So let's get into the first story because it's just continuing to develop. Grand Theft Auto 6 is arguably the most anticipated entertainment product in human history, and right now the rollout is not being controlled by Rockstar. It's being hijacked by hackers and leaks. And for a while, things got dark. After a sort of steady barrage of initial drops, the leaker went a bit quiet, and we were looking at a pretty long stretch of radio silence. And was that the calm before the storm? Did the authorities finally catch him, or was he quietly gearing up for another release? Well, during all of this, the silence from Rockstar's end has been a bit deafening. They've completely halted their usual marketing posts. Their social feeds are quiet, eerily quiet, almost as if they're getting ready to do something. And the studio is almost certainly full of a lockdown and crisis management mode right now. When you're dealing with a breach of this magnitude, community engagement's going to get thrown out the window in favor of pure security sweeps and aggressive legal takedowns. Because if you thought the initial video clips were bad, well, it's potentially getting worse. Ecstasis from Insider Gaming this morning reported that there is more out there. However, the new group is claiming to have something, but quote, it's not the game. It contains 3D models and map height data. And while the file has not been made public, community members have already managed to extract the topography and the terrain elevation of the game. Even without a fully compiled game, data miners are taking a raw GPU data file and they're pulling pieces out. Now, he also went on to say that another group of leakers have basically stuff all the way from gameplay footage to playable builds to hands. It's all in the hands of the hackers. They've also apparently got a development kit. We're not quite sure what has happened with that yet. And they even have employee data. But literally, as I was writing the script for this video, another thing dropped. The leaker's stretch of radio silence came to an end. He just resurfaced. He posted a brand new file to the web titled Hypercar Part 1. And apparently in this file, according to Reddit, it's going to show Jason stealing a black and white Bugatti-looking car. He's wearing different clothes. All the previous 5 leaks, he had the same outfit. So what should Rockstar do? Well, my video last night, outlined a suggestion. I essentially said, The first step would be to talk to Netflix and to negotiate some sort of a change in timing here. I don't necessarily think you want to change the timing of the Netflix event. That's kind of set. They're probably running network tests and infrastructural tests between now and that event that need to take place to ensure that people are able to watch. Their boxing events and live events up to now have suffered with some buffering and some lag. So talk to them. You probably can't change the timing of the event, but what you could do is you could start to push out sneak peeks to promote the event. If you push out really, really good looking pieces of gameplay, it really takes a lot of the leverage of the leakers away. One of the main reasons people care about the leaks right now is because we don't really have anything. Many people left comments on my video saying, well, Rockstar deserves this. They won't show us the game. They won't show gameplay. I don't really get the logic there. Like, I get that you want to see gameplay, but that doesn't mean that, like, major data breaches and theft and hacking is justified because you want to see a trailer. But I do think that is fundamentally why people are looking for these leaks every single day, which is another thing they should do. Is after the Netflix event, I would do a full-on marketing blitz. I would absolutely just flood the market with footage, with gameplay, with character detail, world detail. Make it to where anything they leak is viewed as sort of boring. I think it's the best way to take power away from this trickle of leaks, and hopefully none of the alleged like dev kits or file hacks turn into anything more significant like the entire story or major spoilers. So will Rockstar finally drop an official statement? Will they drop a new trailer? Or are they even going to attempt to take the narrative back by force? Will they just do this sort of silent treatment while this ongoing data dump continues? Well, let me know what you think down in the comments, and make sure you swing by one of my live streams. But that's not the only update that we have. We have an update about the God of War TV show. We need to talk about the whiplash for the God of War live-action TV series. If you've been following this production at all, you know it's been a bit of a roller coaster. The first image looked pretty bad, okay? It looked like AI, but then people actually managed to make it look better with AI, which was a bit embarrassing. And then the news dropped this week that is a little bittersweet. Prime Video has officially found its new Kratos, and it's Dave Bautista. Now, before we talk about Bautista, stepping into wielding the Leviathan axe, we need to pour one out for Ryan Hurst. If you remember, Hurst famously voiced Thor in the video game God of War Ragnarok. He played Opie in Sons of Anarchy, and he was originally cast as the live-action Kratos, and by all accounts, he was putting in the work. He had packed on a lot of muscle for the role, and he reportedly had already been filming episodes. Now, while filming a stunt in June, he suffered a severe bicep tear. It required surgery, and the recovery and the rehabilitation was going to stall production significantly. Well, instead of waiting, Amazon made the tough decision to recast so that they could get back to shooting and back on track this fall. Now, it's awful, I think, to lose a role like this, especially a dream role of being in the show of a game that you had already kind of taken part in. And so we are wishing Ryan Hurst the best in a speedy recovery. I never want to cover something like this and sort of glibly wash over the fact that, like, the guy got hurt and they had to recast him. But we do have somebody, I think, that does fit the role rather well. Getting Dave Bautista is a big win. You're making the best of a bad situation. And the irony here is a little funny. Bautista has been very actively and loudly campaigning to play Marcus Phoenix in a Gears of War movie, and instead he's ending up as, kind of the other team's big gruff lead person. But he did famously drop a lot of weight. He was slimming down after all of his Marvel days, and I think that is going to be a bit of a physical hurdle for him. We've seen other actors talk about the fact that it can be very difficult to have big weight and muscular swings in their career. It's why some of them didn't even like doing the superhero movies anymore, because they had to pack on so much muscle, and their diets and their daily life and the rituals and the working out was just grueling. So he's probably got that in his future. If he can kind of get back up to his size, I actually think he could make for a very good Kratos. Production is aiming to restart this fall, so he has a bit of a short window to bulk back up and get back to his Drax-sized proportion to play the Ghost of Sparta. Which brings us to the potential question of the boy. Are they going to recast Atreus? Currently, the actor Callum Vinson is cast for Atreus for Season 1, but the rumor mill's been spinning up lately that reports of casting calls have gone out looking for teenage versions of Atreus and Thrud for Season 2. Now, if that's true, the pacing of the show could be rather quick. I mean, it basically sounds like they're going to jump from God of War 2018 right to this one, to God of War Ragnarok for the very next game, right? It's a bit different in a game like this. They can make Atreus look older and it still looks like Atreus, right? They basically just age him, make him a little bit taller, right? And then the voice actor can stay the same. That's not quite as easy when you change actors. Despite all the production hurdles, I think the show has a stacked cast. You have Olafur Dari Olafsson stepping into the role of Thor. He was fantastic in Severance. He's big and commanding and terrifying. I actually think he fits the role of the little bit more rotund and beefy Thor that they went for in Ragnarok. You got Mandy Patinkin as Odin. He's fantastic. He's been great all the way back to The Princess Bride. Ed Skrein will be playing Balder. He's the really pretty and good-looking guy from Game of Thrones with the long hair. If you remember him, he could probably make a very, very good Balder. But I want to know what you guys think. Drop into the comments. Are you excited to see, Bautista play Kratos? What about the rumors of Atreus for Season 2? Let me know in the comments below, and always make sure to stop by one of my live streams. And that's not the only update that we have that's not exactly exciting, and this next one has to do with Duskbloods. Just 48 hours ago, if you looked at your feeds, Duskbloods was looking pretty solid. The media reviews dropped, and the praise was almost universal. The footage was better than I expected. Now, I still have my own concerns about frame rate, frame pacing, connections, latency. Nintendo Switch is not really known for its power, and Nintendo's not really known for its netcode, but it seemingly is shaping up better than I expected. And then today, unfortunately, the network test is canceled. Not delayed by a few hours, just completely scrapped. And the official reason they gave is server issues. So, the network test to test the servers can't because the servers are having issues. So what could be happening? Well, best case scenario is maybe they vastly underestimated demands. Now, this would obviously push against some of my own predictions that I don't necessarily think this game is going to do particularly well. It's a very strange match to have an exclusive FromSoft online PvPvE game on the Nintendo Switch. It just feels like a lot of weird ingredients coming together that may lead to the game not doing all that well. Okay, so best case scenario, maybe I was completely and totally wrong, and the game has, way more demand and they weren't prepared for the network test. Like, worst case scenario is they're just not prepared. There's, potential netcode issues. The Switch and the Nintendo, sort of ecosystem, it just really isn't known for these types of games. It's always been a bit of a question of mine, is these sort of multiplayer games that want to go over to the Nintendo environment and try to flourish. It just isn't really known for that. That also really isn't known for a high-performant piece of machinery, and so a game like this, needs to run well and needs to run smooth, or people aren't going to have a very good time. So I want to know what you think. You can leave a comment below. What'd you think of the previews? What'd you think of the footage? Are you kind of like me? Are you a little worried, or you think this thing's got a lot of potential? I've also said that I don't think it stays an exclusive. I think maybe it's got a 6-month window and then it likely lands on consoles and PC. But if you're getting the game or trying to get into the network tests, let me know what you think in the comments below, and always make sure you stop by one of my live streams. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. The GTA 6 leak situation just continues to develop, and unfortunately, it was one of the reasons I was pretty severely late this morning. I was like, I'll be able to get all this done and go live at 9:30 as I was writing the script. I actually had to write my script this morning. I had a previous engagement last night, and it's one of the reasons I will not be able to be a part of the Call of Duty Next thing this morning. I will not be able to be a part of that. They had a technical test thing that you needed to do last night in order to partake, and I was not able to be there. I had a prior engagement, so we won't be able to partake in that. Pretty bummed about that. They've been excellent. They've included us in all sorts of stuff and calls, and I'm listed as one of the participants, but they had a technical thing that you needed to take part in that I was not able to make it to. So we're just going to go with the normal stream today, as we always do. Mortal Shell 2 is so good. Yeah, I've been hearing very good things from people about Mortal Shell 2 as well. What's good, Feed? Good to see you in the chat. But I didn't have my script written, and that was why I was so late this morning. I was like, oh, I'll write my script. I was like, I'll be able to get it ready for 9:30. And then I'm literally in the middle of writing it, right? I'm literally in the middle of writing it, and all of a sudden, the feed blows up, and I'm like, wait, what's going on? And everyone's like, oh, there's a new leak, there's a new leak, there's a new leak. Yo, and a 5-bomb comes in from Ginger. Han shot first, and so did you. He's going to start the day to get us a 297. You guys have got a bit of a slog ahead of you to get it to 500 to unlock tomorrow night with Madam. What's your most hyped game for this year? Right now, my most anticipated game is Control Resonant, followed by Onimusha, and then Phantom Blade Zero and Wolverine. They're all kind of in the same grouping of games that I'm excited for, but Control Resonant is the big one in the group, I think. So, looking forward to that one. Good to see you in the chat feed on Twitch. Thank you for being here. Ginger says, let's get that number up. Guys, make sure as you come in, you go through the ritual and hit the like button. You guys have already got us to 100 likes, so let's go for 200 likes. The situation with GTA 6, and a 5-bomb comes in from Silver Subaru, and he crosses the Rubicon into 300. Thank you so much for doing that. Maybe a little 5-bomb train starting. Those are one of the best ways to hit the goal, because instead of waiting for one person to do all the heavy lifting, you guys band together. So thank you, Silver Subaru, for doing that. And a single comes in from Narwaffle and adds to the total. What's your expectation of the Netflix GTA stuff? Well, I think that the Netflix GTA stuff, like the GTA 6 extended look or what have you, I think that when Strauss Zelnick says, like, oh, it'll make sense when we finally air it, I think there's going to be some kind of a mini-series or a show or something on Netflix. I don't think they want people just signing up to watch one thing. I think they want you to continue to come back. So I think they're going to do some kind of a mini-series. I think they're going to be basically saying, hey, let's explain why Lucy is in jail. Let's explain who Jason is. You know, make some prologue, sort of context, sort of narrative world-building stuff. I think that they do something like that. Good morning, Christopher. Good morning, CM Wright. How are you? Did you pre-order the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition? No, I did not. Thank you for the gift. Yeah, if you guys get gifted a member, be sure to say thank you to the person that gifted you the member. I think there will definitely be crossover stuff with Netflix. Yes. And WGC with 30 months gets us to 304. My most anticipated game this fall is Barbie Rewind, as it's the only game with the courage to go up against GTA 6. I expect a masterpiece. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it'll definitely have a go at it. You think it's going to be a Netflix show like Edge Runners? Yeah, the question is, do they do live actors or not? Like, did they try to snag the actual actress who plays Lucia, or are they going to go with something animated? I don't really know. I am still curious as to what Rockstar has planned. The fact that they kind of pulled up reins on social, like they didn't do their normal daily post about like Red Dead Online or GTA Online, they didn't do that. So there may be something coming. I don't think there will be a formal response. A lot of people left comments on my video last night, and they were essentially saying that they didn't, people were like, well, they shouldn't respond. And I was like, well, I'm not saying they should publicly say anything. I'm just saying start marketing the game. That's all you got to do. Start marketing the game. If you start marketing the game, you take a lot of the power of this away. Steam Deck Gamer renews their membership and gets us an exact 20 bomb away from the next milestone of 325. Good morning, Hilly. Good to see you. You finished your Control Platinum yesterday. Today's Pragmata. Oh, Pragmata is so good. Take-Two has filed subpoenas in federal court for Microsoft and Discord to hand over all records relevant to accounts and servers it believes may have recently been involved in posting and spreading GTA 6 leaks in order to help track down the source. So it sounds like to me, if these subpoenas are in fact real, they're on the hunt for this person. They're trying to figure out where they are and how they're doing what they're doing. Did you see that the leaker was discovered? I think a lot of those, we found out who the leaker is. I've seen 4 different names and 4 different pictures. I think people need to be very careful when doing that because you could potentially ruin someone's life, because everybody's going to go after them, harass them. I think people need to be a lot more careful with that. I just think everyone is so brazen and so reckless with how they behave on the internet. I don't think we should be and I'm not saying you're doing this, Zenthos, but I'm saying I've seen the pictures and I have the posts and everything, and I'm like, I've seen 4 different guys' faces and 4 different names, and it's like, y'all should not be doing that. If it's an official court document or an official arrest is made, that's then public, and that's not on you if that happens, but we shouldn't be doing that. Some of these guys could be totally innocent or just strangers. And then they're going to try and tough it out for the next 6 days. I mean, I 100% agree with you. If they don't do anything today, I think they tough it out. I do. I think going into the weekend, dropping something today, doing some counter warfare marketing, I think would be advisable, personally. That has been my suggestion. They could make the stock bounce back. They could really, really change the narrative. And it doesn't have to be anything that significant. Like, I say this and people immediately like, no, they shouldn't do anything. I'm like, they got to do something eventually, okay? The thing is going to happen next week. There's no harm in dropping a sneak peek. There's no harm in dropping a preview trailer or an advertisement for the Netflix event, right? There's nothing. I don't think there's a flaw there. I don't think there's a faux pas or a mistake baked into that. All right. So, and I also think it would fix a lot of the issues, right? You know what I'm saying? I like the nature of this environment that we live in is an attention economy. This person called all these leaks. No, they didn't. They deleted all of their claims and changed their username. There's no reason that individual is not a reliable leaker. They deleted all previous claims about the game and changed their name, like went into hiding and came back. Even now, there's community notes. Dan, let's not do this, please. Rockstar didn't do their weekly update for GTA Online because it's a 2-week event that started last week. You can check their newswire. That's what I mean. Like, they're clearly doing something internally. Now, they've either said everybody be quiet and say nothing, right? They've either said, hey, don't say anything. Keep it on the low, shut it all down, because they're getting ready to say something. Or they're saying, no, we're just going to go completely dark until the Netflix event. Do you know what I mean? I should have put the kappa. Oh, I was going to say, come on, what are we doing here? Thoughts on Xbox hiding game sales from Circana? I mean, they've never been particularly transparent with their numbers, their sales, their revenue, or anything. I don't know why anybody expected them to continue this fake version of transparency where they don't really say anything. The fact that people kept applauding them for their transparency, I thought was amusing. Anyway, yeah, we have it for a reason. Only a matter of time until the leaker is caught. Well, here's the thing, though. You catch the leaker, fine. There are other groups now that are making claims. They claim that they have a GPU file. They're extracting information from it. They're extracting 3D models, topography of the city. You've got the one group claiming they have a dev kit. There's a handful of groups now making claims. Now, some people said, oh, the guys with the dev kit got debunked. I didn't see anybody debunk that. I saw one person claim that it wasn't real, and then everybody ran with it was debunked. And I'm like, Xstasis had a group that had literal screenshots of them interacting with the dev kit. If that's fake, so be it. But it looked genuine. It seems like more and more stuff's coming out. More and more stuff's getting discovered. More and more stuff is potentially going to be leaking. I will continue to say that I don't think this primary guy has a PC build. I think he's got video files, and I think the very short video of him shooting, that could be anything. That could be a testing slice. That could be something that he had somebody make for him ahead of time, like a disgruntled employee or something. It again seems to me like if you genuinely had like a full playable build, you would be showing us a whole lot more than what he's been showing. All the videos seem like something that was recorded that wasn't intended to be leaked. It was just somebody goofing around, not goofing around, but testing things. That's what they all look like. They just look like a testing run, like, oh, fly the plane around and get some footage, and, drive a car around and get some footage. I mean, you're not seeing menus, you're not seeing missions, you're not seeing quests. They're not like loading up the game and playing it from the beginning. So the guy's playing it as we speak. It's him playing it, in my opinion. I see no evidence to think that it's him playing it because the stuff that's happening in the videos is so boring. If it was him playing, why would he be like, yeah, I'm just going to slowly fly the plane around the city? And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to prove that you actually have access to the entire game, you don't prove it with the footage that he's been putting out there. The footage that he's been putting out there is very... It feels canned. It feels pre-recorded. It doesn't feel like he's booting up the game and saying, oh, I know what I'll do. I'll really show him something special. How about a plane slowly flying around and not doing anything? I just don't think so. Yeah, I think the graphics in the game look fine. Yeah, interior of buildings, talking to NPCs, loading up a mission. He's trying to milk it for his coin. Yeah, show the boot up. There's so many other things that you would show. If you have access to the game, the footage he's providing does not communicate that. All the footage been shown is with the C mission selected. He hasn't been able to progress it, or he chose not to, which I doubt. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think he's got a full version. I think he's got some sort of he either has a testing build where he can do a very, very small amount of things within the build, and that might explain why he was able to shoot his gun and spell his name in the wall. Okay? So he may have some kind of a testing build. Or these are pieces of footage from somebody's computer who was interacting with a testing build. Because people that are like, oh, that's a PC build. I'm like, there's no way to know that. It could be a recording from somebody's computer. Like, that doesn't necessarily mean that, like, it's definitely a PC build. It's like, why are people jumping to that conclusion? As far as I can tell, it's some kind of a testing environment. That's what it looks like to me. Without all the developer tools up. It's like it's just somebody that was meant to go in and test the various things out. Yeah, the one guy loading it up on his PlayStation 5, that was 100% fake. He probably doesn't have anything else to show. I think he's limited to only free room and maybe one mission. Hidden One says, yeah, I'm starting to think that too, but he could at least show how gunplay looks or a clothing store. I'm telling you, the reason the footage is extremely limited is it's not some elaborate full build or a PC build. I think it's footage from somebody got phished, okay? Somebody clicked on something in an email or what have you, and they got phished. And they just scraped whatever was on the hard drive. They just grabbed it all, would be my guess. I heard where the map leak was close to some third-party projection projects, but that excites me. I think the whole map will be very dense and full. I think these leaks are going to hurt sales. Oh, I don't think so at all. I don't see any reason to think that these leaks are going to hurt sales. This game is monolithic in the market. Like a couple, hundreds of thousands of people seeing. Here's the thing. I would say that most of the people that are tracking this, watching this, and watching the footage, they're in. They're in. They've already pre-ordered. They're going to be there day one. That's why they're hyper interested. Like, it doesn't stand to reason that, like, all these people scouring Reddit and Twitter and they're, like, waiting with bated breath for something to happen. I just don't see that yielding some kind of an actual, detriment to their sales or something to that effect. So the newest development is that Take-Two has subpoenaed a trove of records from Microsoft and Discord because it's hunting for the GTA 6 leaker. And Shinobi here with a 6-star wanted level. A little bit of a meme there from Shinobi on Twitter. Other GTA games make fun of pop culture. This game's trying to be pop culture. It's not the same. I definitely think it's a very different approach. It doesn't seem nearly as satirical as the past. It seems more like a reflection of what society has become with trying to go viral and things like that. Rockstar has a gem and they know it. The footage makes me want to play even more. You were hoping for a bigger map? I think that map is pretty huge. I don't know, but the leaks got me even more hype. How many of you are more hyped because of the leaks? I've seen a handful of people kind of, saying, oh, it doesn't look that good. I mean, I don't necessarily think that some of these people are being serious. Which is satire in itself. The leaker made around 50,000 through meme coin so far. So you guys are saying me, more, me, I am me, I'm hyped, I'm so hyped, more. Okay. Guys, do me a favor, as you're typing in the chat, try to get us to 200 likes over here on YouTube. It's very helpful. We're only about 30 minutes into the show. Your hype is unchanged. Okay. I love how there's now gas in the cars. I'm just avoiding the leaks and wanting to see it on Netflix. Oh, waiting to see it on Netflix. As long as it's 60 FPS, I'm good. I think the thing that I didn't expect, with these leaks, the thing that I didn't expect was people being like, they deserve it. And I'm like, what? They won't show us gameplay. They deserve this. And I'm like, that's a very weird opinion to have. Have you had a chance to see the new Azonghui trailer? Yes, I reacted to it yesterday. It looks great. Again, my only concern with that company is they can make things look incredible and then performance is subpar. Because, Black Myth still doesn't run particularly well on PlayStation. People can hand wave all they want and say whatever they want. They can insult me all they want. That's a fact. It just doesn't run very well on the console. And I'm worried that Phantom Blade Zero, Black Myth, and Tides of Annihilation are all going to fall prey to the same problem, that they optimize for PC and console's just going to be kind of an afterthought. A large part of the gaming community wants GTA 6 to fail. But why? Yeah, but I just don't understand. And DK Bager gifts a member and gets us to 306. Thank you so much. These leaks are not even known by 90% of the people who are buying it. Also, he's not doing this from some altruistic reasons. SKG, Stop Killing Games are even distancing themselves and calling out the bad actor. DK Bager with 46 months in a VIP. Thank you so much. Yeah, they're basically like, this is not the way. That's a dumb take. People literally worked late nights, changed plans they had for their families, friends, etc. This is complete lack of respect for their hard work. That's something that I said in my video. I said it's really easy to look at Take-Two and to look at Rockstar and to just see this giant greedy entity. And it's like, there's thousands of real human beings that worked on this thing that are just trying to make their way in the world. And the thing that they worked hard on is now being, kind of ripped apart and leaked out and treated like some sort of, information commodity. And it's like, the people that worked on this don't have anything to do with the policies and the way digital goods are treated. It's, you know what I'm saying? it's not something that we should be like celebrating, like, yeah, they deserve it. And it's like their marketing strategy is not worthy of revenge. It's just the way they wanted to market the game. They didn't show us very much. You mean the hater community hiding in the gaming community want it to fail? Yeah, I do feel like we have a lot of imposters in the community these days where like they basically want everything to suffer and be bad. There's a new Souls game where you play as a dog. I can understand from Rockstar's perspective why the leaks are terrible, but as a customer, it's not a big deal. It's not going to change my behavior one way or another. I saw you're part of the COD Next event, getting back to it. We're not going to be able to partake today. I went through all of their paperwork. I went through all of their likeness agreements, but then there was a thing last night that I had to be a part of, some kind of a technical test. I wasn't able to be a part of it, so I won't be able to be a part of the broadcast today. I had a prior engagement. I was out with friends. It's all clever marketing campaign, draw attention to the game with drama. It's what all influencers do. That's another theory that I don't think anybody actually thinks through. So let's just imagine that you're correct. Sorry God 777 is your username, okay? Let's just imagine that you're correct. That would mean that they're leaking low-quality versions of the gameplay with crypto watermarks and a manifesto calling out the company for the digital-only push. And then the stock value has taken damage this week. I can't imagine that that's what they're doing. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I get that people are expecting some sort of unique, sort of creative style of marketing here. I totally get that. I get the instinct to think, oh yeah, they're totally doing that. But when you actually look at the details of this and how it's happening, I highly doubt it. Now they're spending legal hours and billable legal hours to go after this guy and to do subpoenas and to get into lawsuits. There is not a world where I would think that they would do this on purpose. I just don't think so. The crypto watermark, the manifesto, now we've got subpoenas. They're going to try to find him. They're going to try to prosecute him. Oh, I forgot to unmute Discord. Sorry. I can't see, good morning Discord. I can't see them doing that intentionally. I really, really can't. I think there's a lot of theories out there, and that's probably, to me, that's like the weakest one. They'd probably get sued for that. Yeah, like voluntarily hurting your own product and then subsequently hurting your own stock value. I don't think that would go over very well for them. They'd be looking at a lawsuit of some kind, as well as, you could potentially. I mean, that's defrauding. I mean, you're making everybody think something's going on that's not really going on. Blood of Dawnwalker has no 60 FPS on both the PS5 and the Pro, only 30 and 40. What? Here is the console footage of Blood of Dawnwalker showcasing the graphics quality modes on the PS5 Pro and the Series X. Are you sure you're not understanding that this trailer is specifically showing off quality mode, brother? That's literally what it says. Blood of Dawnwalker offers 2 graphics modes on the PlayStation 5, quality and balanced. Oh wait, you might be right. I thought this trailer was specifically showing off the quality modes. It offers 2 graphics modes on the Series X, quality and balanced. Why would they not have? I can't tell if this is just really, really bad marketing, or are they trying to hide the fact that they don't have a performance mode? That doesn't make any sense. Like, is this just a game trailer for the quality mode? How would they do? I don't understand. That's such an odd decision. Quality, balanced, and then no performance mode. Unless it's a trailer They say, here is the console footage for Blood of Dawnwalker showcasing the graphics quality modes on PS5 Pro and the Series X. I don't know why you would roll out a trailer just for the quality modes, but there's the potential that they've decided to break it apart. I don't know. That seems like a very strange choice. It's a little concerning. It's like, I think people were already a little concerned about what the game looked like. The trailer itself says only quality and balance, no mention of performance. Yeah, it's just very strange. Digital or physical, the game would have gotten out either way. I'm not sure what you mean. What do you mean you had stuff to do? Nothing's more important than COD. I heard 30 and 60 FPS argument on Reddit. Balance seems like a 40 FPS mode. Yeah, I don't know why you would do that. It's clear that people want performance modes. It's clear that they want to turn off the extra stuff. I don't know. That's a very, very strange choice. Tells me we've hit peak, like we shouldn't be questioning stable 60 in 2026. It tells me developers haven't mastered the optimization yet. I don't understand your conclusion, given that the vast majority of games have had no problem with this. I don't feel like you're doing analysis of the market. I feel like that kind of feels like bait. I don't know if you're serious. If you're serious, I don't know why you would conclude that. The vast majority of games are 60. A teeny tiny minority, I mean the tiniest group of people have had to launch games like this. This is not a representation of the market at all. At all. Wolverine's dropping with 60 FPS and ray tracing in the performance mode on the base PS5. Like, that was just reported as a pretty significant uptick for like a game to launch that way. Onimusha's going to launch at 60. Control Resonance launching at 60. All these games are going to be launching with 60 FPS modes. Like, I don't think Blood of Dawnwalker is indicative of anything within the market at all. It's their own choice to do that. People tried that same narrative when Gotham Knights came out at 30. Oh, yeah. We've hit the peak. We're going backwards. We're going to have a bunch of 30 FPS games this generation. That prediction turned out to be horribly inaccurate. That did not happen at all. It sounds like you're doing the same thing. You're letting one game like overshadow the entire industry. Name the last successful game that ran at less than 60. Name the last mainline big game that launched and was like, yeah, we don't have 60 FPS mode available at launch. Like, name a game that's done that. I don't know. I'm not sure why people end up thinking that every time a game like this, I don't know, comes out. 60 may cost companies too much. That's not really how it works. It's not like you're pumping quarters into a 60 FPS machine. It's a matter of how they build the game. Is it a priority from moment one? A lot of times it comes down to things that they do with their lighting. Like Gotham Knights baked ray tracing into the game, and it completely tanked performance because it's a very, very demanding lighting system. So it wasn't like they ran out of money or something and they're like, oh man, we can't pay the 60 FPS, man. The original Breath of the Wild wasn't at 60, was it? Are you asking that question because you're genuinely curious, or are you attempting to make a point? The original Breath of the Wild. I'm not sure where you're going with this, because I'm going to answer your question, but I'm not sure if you're trying to say something, because it launched on the Switch 1 in 2017, and the Switch 1 was very, very weak machine. Yes, the original Breath of the Wild launched at 30. You can now play it at 60 on the Switch 2 with the update. But I don't know if you're trying to say something. I'm like, wait a minute, why are you asking this question? Because that game's not indicative of anything. That game came out like 9 years ago on the Switch 1. It came out in 2017, brother. And the Switch 1 was Whew. Yeah, it also launched on the Wii U. That's correct. $10 from the OA. Here's praise to the leaker because nothing says protect physical more than marketing crypto. Let's see. I will gift a member. I forgot to set the super chat goal. Thank you for the reminder. Guys, check that like button. Make sure you've hit it. We need 40 more likes. 40 more likes to get to 200 likes. Try to get us there before the first hour. And check your member and sub and prime renewals. No, I'm saying it was a great game, and I don't think it was at 60. Okay, so this is how I typically look at this. There's nothing wrong with having a good time in a game at 30, and there's also not necessarily a straight line between 30 FPS and bad game. Okay, I myself played Breath of the Wild. I played Spider-Man 1 and God of War 2018 on a PS4 Pro, and I played those games at 30. Those are wonderful games. So the connection between 30 FPS and bad game is not one that I'm trying to make. Okay? What we're doing is we're talking about the expectation of games coming out right now. And when somebody sees a single game come out without a performance mode and says, well, I guess we've hit the ceiling and devs can't optimize anymore, I do not think that's a conclusion that you can actually come to. That's not like an evidence-based conclusion, because if you look at the games that have come out, if you look at the games that have dropped this gen, the norm, the overwhelming norm is 60 FPS performance mode is there. Day one. A tiny, tiny snippet of games have launched like this. They're not representative of games right now. Someone said, name a popular game at 30. So I mentioned that game. Oh, okay. So the difficulty with the way that you've answered it is you went to a 9-year-old game. I could have done the same thing. I could have said Spider-Man 1 on the PS4, Horizon Zero Dawn on the PS4, God of War 2018 on the PS4. I think the reason you threw everybody for a loop is you went back pretty far. Thinking of the big picture of gaming, do we need next gen if there's still a convo about stable 60? This gen was marketed at 4K 60. No dig at developers. Just saying, we may not need next gen yet. I'm not following the logical flow of your argument, because let's just take your premise. We can't get stable 60. So why would we need another gen? I think somebody could argue against you. I'm not going to do this, but I do think somebody could say that's precisely why we need another gen. We need more power. Now, I don't agree with that, but I think that'd be a very fair pushback on what you're saying. You're invoking a weakness while then saying we don't need more strength. That doesn't quite make sense logically. Secondly, okay, we're not having a convo and a struggle about stable 60. I think you're falsely summarizing where the market is right now. Again, and you haven't pushed back on this, so you're merely repeating yourself. You're not pushing back on what I'm saying. I think the development market has largely demonstrated the ability to ship games with a 60 FPS mode. The market has demonstrated that. The market's not demonstrating what you're claiming. So I think your entire premise is faulty, because you're making it seem as though, yeah, we can't even get stable 60. That is simply untrue. Therefore, everything else you're saying is not really worth entertaining, because it's built on a premise that falsely summarizes where the gaming market is right now. I have consistently purchased games that have a 60 mode that run well. When we get an exception to that, when we get somebody that falls below that, we're critical of it, because we're like, what are you doing? I just finished downloading the Duskbloods beta, so when can I actually play it? The network test scheduled for today is not happening. They were having issues with the servers. Sorry. Hate to be the bearer of bad news. Plague Tale Requiem, Starfield, Dragon's Dogma 2, Hellblade 2. Problem with all those examples is Plague Tale was updated to 60, Starfield was updated to 60, Hellblade 2 was updated to 60, Dragon's Dogma 2 was updated to more consistently hit 60 because it was an issue with CPU consumption of the NPCs thinking when you got to town. So none of those examples actually work because they all fixed what was viewed as an inferior launch, which that actually, unfortunately, all those games actually add to my side of the argument. They're evidence that developers think it should happen, and then they worked towards making it happen, proving the point. We're not in a situation right now where the norm is, oh man, we just don't see 60 FPS games. Agree, Lono. About 99% of AAA games I played this gen have been 60. Yeah, Rise of the Ronin 2. Rise of the Ronin 2 had performance issues, but it shipped with the 60 FPS mode. So again, that doesn't add to the discussion. Resident Evil 9 shipped with the 60 mode. Why would people buy a PlayStation 6 based on pros and performance when the PS5 is still having issues with promises of performance? Not all games are having problems, just some that I know of. So, is it an indictment of the console, or is it developers? Well, no, off topic, I think that they care why he's leaking the footage. They just care if it hurts Take-Two. There's a misconception that some people have of gamers rooting for the GTA leaker. I'm not sure what you mean. The GTA 6 leaks are hurting Take-Two's stock. Guys, could we get 200 likes on the video? There's 467 people here. I need everybody right now, double check that like button. Let's all take a little second here. You know, let's make sure we push that little button and then go back to chatting or lurking. There we go. I did my part. It's sitting at 170. $5 super chat from Social Destruct. Good morning, sir. Being reported now that Take-Two's filed subpoenas against Micro and Discord because of the leaks. Yeah, they want to track this guy down. 100%. The GTA 6 leaks are ongoing. There was a brand new GTA 6 leak this morning. I haven't seen it, but it was just going to be Jason stealing a car or something, like a black and white Bugatti-looking car. I just joined the chat. I wanted to say that it's kind of cool that Jason smashed the window when he carjacked that woman, because that means potentially vehicles that are in motion. Oh, so is that what takes place in the footage itself? Good news. I heard your favorite upcoming title, Horizon Hunters Gathering, will be 60 FPS. Oh, I can't wait. Sorry, was kind of thinking out loud bouncing. May have mixed up the 60 FPS and optimization. I do feel like optimization is an issue. If there's an issue this gen, does it cause concern down the road? You can swap out words, which is fine. Maybe that was the point you were trying to make. Let's swap the words out. Has there been an ongoing and measurable issue with optimization this gen? I don't think so. I don't know. You could maybe convince me. I don't know if it's unique to this gen, though. Hasn't this been sort of an ongoing trope of games that, like, they launch and they're not ready, or they launch and they need patched? Like, I don't know if this gen in particular is, like, marked by a noticeable uptick in optimization issues. Now, we could say games that went to Unreal 5 early had issues with optimization, but I feel, again, that's not an uncommon thing. I think we saw the same thing when people jumped to Unreal 4. So I don't know if this is a unique thing right now that's like, oh, the consoles are the problem, optimization's really struggled this gen. I feel like that's just sort of part and parcel to game launches. Like, they just launch and a lot of them still have issues. Like, you have publishers that are like, get the game out. Video games have performance and quality modes, but they should have a cinematic mode where it's 24 frames per second like a movie theater. I don't agree with that at all. I don't want developers wasting time on that because almost nobody would use that. That'd be a waste of money. No disrespect to you wanting it. That is not a good use of money. An incredibly small percentage of people would use that. That's just throwing money in the toilet. Rissick with 59 months gets us to 308. Thank you, Rissick. The GTA leaks are only helping the grifters with their narratives. The mainstream doesn't care about these leaks. And A. Willis gifts a member and gets us to 309 on the week. Oh, you were joking, S3 Plan. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, that would be such a waste of money. And a 5-bomb comes in from Rissick and gets us to 314. Yes, IGN, Kotaku, and others are now reporting that Rockstar is issuing subpoenas. They are trying to track down the leaker. The GTA 6 leaks continue. There was a brand new GTA 6 gameplay leak this morning, and obviously there's going to be a continued effort from Rockstar and from Take-Two to find this guy. They're submitting a sworn declaration confirming that the purpose for which the DMCA subpoena is sought is to obtain and identify the alleged infringer. So they are going after this guy. They're out. They're out for blood at this point. Gotcha. You're saying engine used, not console. Never thought of it that way. Actually makes sense. Again, no disrespect, just curious thinking. No, I don't feel disrespected. Gunner, the reason I push back on what you're saying is people have done this since Gotham Knights. One game comes out, has performance issues, 30 FPS, and they're like, oh man, this generation, we just can't get 60 FPS games. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I haven't had issues playing 60 FPS games at all. I mean, just this year alone, Saros ran immaculately well. 007 First Light ran great. Resident Evil 9, beautiful and 60. Pragmata, Mouse PI for hire. Lego Batman, as long as you weren't playing split screen. Split screen's two renders of the same game, so I understood why the frame rate went down. But the main game of Batman was beautiful, and it's 60. 007 First Light, as I said. I played the DLC for Doom: The Dark Ages. That's another great 60 FPS game. Like, I just never had that. I just don't feel like I've had that issue this gen at all. Optimization is almost case by case, and again, doesn't feel like an indictment necessarily of the consoles. The issue for optimization is that development time has gotten too long and gen cycles are too short. Publishers push to get the games out as an MVP so they don't waste dev time. Yeah, a good example would be Crimson Desert came out probably 6 months before it should have. Star Wars Jedi Survivor, when it came out, probably came out 6 months before it should have. I think we commonly run into games that the issue with optimization's not like, oh man, these consoles stink. It's, oh man, you guys needed a little bit more time, and I guess the publisher wouldn't give it to you. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I get that it's really easy to look at like one shade of color within gaming and be like, everything stinks. But I commonly feel like it's usually done in a way where you're not actually looking at everything that has launched or how games have come out. It always feels very, very different. I agree. Casuals have no idea that this is happening. Yeah, the general public probably doesn't know about the GTA 6 leaks. I mean, they might be saying news headlines, or they might be wondering why Take-Two stock. How's it doing, by the way? Okay, it's having a bit of a rebound. They're either making private assurances or they're buying on the dip. I don't know. What if the leaker lives in Russia where Rockstar's, then Rockstar can do nothing about it? I don't know where he lives, and I don't know what's going to happen. I keep hearing game updates to 60 not releasing a 60 from gamers. You keep hearing that? Well, can you list any of the games? If not, I mean, it's not really a salient point. I could be like, I keep hearing about games that launch at 240 frames per second for people. Like, I don't know what games you're talking about. There were certainly a wash of games that did that. It seemed like the bulk of that little group were Xbox games, and that could have been a policy at the company that they didn't want games launching without parity. They wanted their first-party games launching with performance parity. Like, it's like a miracle, I guess, that, Redfall, Starfield, and Hellblade 2 all managed to get 60 FPS sometime after launch. They all launched 30, and then they got it later. Outside of those games, Plague Tale Requiem got an update to 60, and then Dragon's Dogma 2 didn't get an update to 60. They fixed an issue in town. It was a specific issue with, like, the NPCs in town. I don't really feel like there's been a big wash of games that launched at 30 and then got updated to 60. I don't feel like I've seen this outside of the games from Xbox. I think this gen has been great overall. There are some studios who just knock it out, like Insomniac, Capcom, Housemarque, etc. Some are better at optimization and workflow than others, I think. There's so much that goes into it, Gunner. Like, I do think the studios that have a proprietary engine, they tend to do better work because it's a very, very comfortable place for them to be, and all that institutional knowledge really, really starts to help with optimization. So Guerrilla has Decima, Insomniac has their own proprietary engine, Santa Monica has their own proprietary engine. I think Housemarque used Unreal, which they kind of showed you can do good work in Unreal, right? Both Returnal and Saros run very well. Dragon's Dogma 2 is getting 60 FPS this month on the base PS5. So it didn't ship with the performance mode? I thought that was the entire complaint, was that the performance mode didn't run well when you went to town. Or was that just on the Pro? My memory of this is now getting confused. I thought that Dragon's Dogma 2 shipped with the performance mode, which was the whole reason for the complaint when people went to town. If you guys are just tuning in, the GTA 6 leak situation is ongoing. It is ongoing. We are monitoring the situation as it develops. Just this morning, there was a new 2 full minutes of high-speed driving and I guess a carjacking that leaked. Jason was actually wearing new clothes this morning in the leak. Another development with the GTA 6 leak is that they have issued subpoenas to Microsoft and Discord. They are attempting to find the leaker as we speak. That it's going on right now. So that is of course something that we anticipated. That's not a surprise at all. That is definitely something that we expected to see happen. I still have to play that game too. Dragon's Dogma 2. Anyone know where you can get a clone yet? I need one bad. Oh, you want to clone yourself? I was like, a clone of the game, huh? They must be losing buku bread if the feds are involved. I mean, I think regardless of money, financial damage, stock value, they were going to go after him regardless. They were going to go after this guy regardless. Like, you can't have, countless GTA 6 leaks hitting. You can't be like, oh, I'm going to do a GTA 6 leak, but it won't really hurt them, so they'll leave me alone. Like, they were going to go after homie no matter what. He could have leaked, like, a ball cap. Here's a 3D model of a ball cap from GTA 6. And they'd have been like, get him. Go get him. Ruin him. I'm genuinely surprised that Rockstar hasn't said something yet. Well, I don't think they're going to say anything. I don't think they're going to want to give it air because of his manifesto and his crypto. It's why I've not been saying the name of the leaker. I'm not trying to give him notoriety and fame, and like, I don't want another dollar of money, go into his stupid crypto that he's, got on every single video, right? So I'm not out here like actively promoting him or what have you. But you're genuinely surprised Rockstar hasn't said anything. Oh yeah, that's what we were talking about. I've continued to say that Rockstar's best plan of attack, instead of drawing more attention to him or addressing it, is just start marketing the game. Just start marketing the game. FBI isn't free. So, are you conveying to me that it's your understanding they have to pay and hire the FBI? Like they're footing the bill or something? Is that your understanding of how this works? FBI paid with taxes, yep. A $10 super chat from the OA. The leaker never watched Lost. You have to know that with enough money and determination, you can find anyone. New Blood of Dawnwalker trailer says the Pro is 30 and 40, no 60. Yeah, that's what got us on that discussion. They about to hit him with felony charges? That has to be a child who said that? I think 187 is just so committed to being like trollish and memey that he got lost there for a little bit, you know? So FBI ain't free. Homie, if you suffer a major data breach and you call and report it to the feds, they're not like, all right, well, we just need to get your credit card down and we'll be able to help you out. Like, yes, we've suffered a major data breach. We need help and an investigation. And the feds are like, we'd love to help you with that. You're late on your last payment, so until you're paid up. I checked, and there was no performance mode for Dragon's Dogma 2 at launch on consoles. What? What was it that I don't understand then? The whole debate, I thought, was that when you went to town in Dragon's Dogma 2, the frame rate dropped down into like the 30s and 40s. Was that only on the Pro that was happening? That was on PC. Oh. My memory on that is so cloudy. I thought for sure I was mistaken. I thought for sure that Dragon's Dogma 2 shipped and the performance mode on console was terrible. You know what I mean? Like you'd get to town and it would like plummet. I must be thinking about later when they were trying to do performance mode, maybe. I don't know. The FBI. Oh, I trust you. I don't need to go watch IGN's video. I trust you. My memory on it's super foggy. The FBI are paid by our taxes whether we use them or not. This is us getting use of our tax dollars. That's why they put the I in FBI. Apparently, he thought that the FBI was a big conglomerate of private investigators. It's like, you got to hire them to investigate your data breaches and cyber crimes. Card declined. That's right. You doofus 187. What? The OA with a $10 super chat. Since I'm quoting the series, when a new engine comes out, usually devs are awash in dilemmas and deficiencies, but once they find their footing, they attend to our requests. Thank you for the $10 super chat, the OA. I appreciate that so much. Man, I would have loved to have gifted to the channel. I just can't score one. Oh, you would love a gifted to the channel. I mean, I'm sorry you can't get a gifted member. For the low cost of $5 a month, the entire month you can be a member if you can't get a gifted. And for your hiring the FBI, you get a whole case of POTUS toilet paper. All right, that's enough. So the reason we're talking about the FBI, people are like, why are we talking about the inner workings of the FBI? Well, today we're talking about the federal government. No, we're talking about them because there are subpoenas being submitted. Rockstar's going after this guy, the leaker, the GTA 6 leaker. They're going for him. They're going to find him. They're going to try and get him. They're going to hang him up by his toes. So I have been super worried about Dawnwalker combat regardless of performance. Doesn't look smooth to me. My thought on the Dawnwalker information is pretty simple. My thought on this is pretty simple. We are in a deluge of games. So if they can't launch with the base level performance mode that I would like, I'm not going to be super bent because there's so many other games to play, and then they can polish work on it and push out an update later. Mr. Get That Ish with the 5 gifted over there on purple. I do owe one to YouTube from earlier. Where can we see this link? You'll have to find it on your own. Sorry to be off topic. Reforge, what is your absolute opinion or perspective on why future Elder Scrolls or Fallout games should or shouldn't be Xbox exclusives? I just keep coming back to exclusive to what? I don't understand what their future hardware plans are as far as how they pair with an exclusive deal. Because if the Helix is basically a PC, what in the world is an exclusive? And if you think that that's going to be a good enough reason for people to buy a Helix, I think they're going to find that that's just not true. The market will not respond. I also just have a hard time believing that the executives at that company are going to take something that large and expensive and limit its reach given the state of things. I don't think the company has a North Star currently. I don't think they've demonstrated that they know what they're doing. Studios are getting laid off, gutted, divested, sold, whatever, because their games didn't sell enough copies. And then they're actively saying that they're going to start limiting the reach of more games so that then they don't sell enough copies. That brand to me, they're just such a non-starter. I think what they do is they just create a bunch of confusion. They say different things. They obfuscate. They're not trustworthy. And anytime I try to talk about them, I just am like, I don't even know what they're doing anymore. You know? I really don't. And it's because I don't think they know what they're doing. Zero evidence that owning a PC means you get better performance when the games are not optimized. Well, and it depends on the PC that you own. When Rockstar catches this guy, the GTA 6 leaker, his punishment is going to be that he has to play the entire Dark Souls series with inverted controls. I mean, I could be of some assistance there. I mean, that's how I play. And for some reason, Twitch has started a hype train. For some reason, you guys have 4 minutes to keep the hype train going. I don't know why it does that, but speaking of Xbox, you see that they stopped reporting sales to Circana? Yeah, they're continuing their trend of transparency, you know? They really want to be transparent with everybody. Nothing really impressed me from the CD Projekt Red anyway outside of Cyberpunk. Buy a publisher that for decades was multi-platform, then get surprised when going exclusive doesn't bring in enough money. Launching without a performance mode is proof that they are just trying to rush the game out before GTA 6. That's what it feels like to me. That's why I said a little bit ago. It's like if the game launches and it clearly was like, oh man, you guys should have delayed this. It's like my hope is they commit to fixing it and they're able to fix it, and then I'll play it when they fix it. Do you know what I'm saying? I'll play it when they fix it. There's too many games coming out to play a game that's not running well. Mate, I gotta go. I appreciate your engagement. Gonna go make some fried rice. Hope you have a good stream. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much. Flapjacks Wolf. It's a heck of a name. Pimp-tastical almost rolls over the the hype train by himself with a 14-month renewal loan. Did you check out the new preview of Tides Annihilation? When did it drop? I don't have anything in my feed about it. Are you talking about a couple of days ago? If so, yes. Yes, we did. You're an inverted control guy? Oh, yeah. The first game I ever played on my computer was Flight Sim with a mouse, so it was inverted. And then GoldenEye was inverted, so I just was always inverted after that. And Wired Rope drops 5 on the community and secures the milestone. Secures the 325, and then I'm going to go ahead and add to the I'll add to the train over here. We're having a hype train, and I owe a member, so I'm going to go ahead and do it now. Thank you so much, Mr. Wired Rope. Did you? I must have missed that. My bad. It's fine. We covered it in a we covered it during a live stream. I didn't do like a separate upload for it. So there it is. I just gifted one to YouTube that I owe. Tides of Annihilation, Beasts of Reincarnation, some epic sounding game titles, not gonna lie. Yeah, the game titles, everybody's getting really good at game titles like Phantom Blade Zero, Tides of Annihilation. You know? It's pretty good. And then Hank, the Delivery Man. No, I'm just kidding. That's not a game. Everyone do this. Grab the hair at the back of your head. Now, which direction do you pull to look up? Now you know. It makes sense. I've always said that. Like, you know, I've always said that I've said the same thing. That if you put a joystick in the back of your head, it makes sense. Although, that argument doesn't hold. That argument doesn't hold for left and right. So, it's a good point until it's not a good point. If only Microsoft had the money to hire the FBI, maybe they would have found the tools to help them with it. Oh, stop it. Witcher 1 through 3 are great games. Of Cyberpunk, nope. You play Inverted? Okay, give me my money back. What difference does it make? I didn't realize anybody actually aimed the crosshairs in GoldenEye. Was always just hip firing for me. Yeah, and that's why you lost. That's why you scrubbed out in GoldenEye, especially on maps like the Stacks and Temple, sucker. Twitch is setting a complete the sub goal gifting option that aims at completing the streamer's set sub goal. Yeah, sure. Somebody go ahead and do that. We need 171 members. So that's only $767. I don't know why they continue to do stuff like that. Lona, do you think shareholders have access to game sales from publishers? If shareholders have access to the individual game sales, then so would we, because that would be publicly reported. For a publicly traded company, I mean, I'm assuming it's a publicly traded company because you invoke the word shareholder. So if it's a publicly traded company and they report their sales, we would get to see that. When they finally start putting out trailers and such for GTA, for Elder Scrolls 6, and they think they will have a similar news cycle to GTA, it'll be more muted. I feel that's the only game close to it. I mean, I don't really know. You know, I don't really know. If I don't invert, I'm running around looking directly at the ground. Okay, I was out of line. This is supposed to be a safe space, not judgmental. It's definitely not a safe space. You know what I'm saying? It's not one of those. You know what I mean? We're not gonna make sure that we use all of the specific language everybody wants us to use. We're not gonna police language here. It's not a safe space. But you know, we also don't need to be that judgmental about inverted controls either. Why a hacker can't find a way to hack prices down instead of selfish reasons? Well, you understand that a hacker can only take what others have made. He can't change what others have made. You know what I mean? It's not like a hacker could like go into a game and be like, I'm a really big fan of mustaches, so I'm going to make this game's lead character have a mustache. Like, you can't do that. I'm trying not to sneeze on the mic, sorry. Marvel's Wolverine has gone gold. They're popping claws in celebration. There you go. Hype train has come to an end on Twitch. Thank you for everybody who participated. Yeah, Matt Piscatella says Microsoft is no longer a digital panel participating publisher. So there you go. It's official. So Wolverine is gold. I'm Wolverine. Checking the news feeds here. Any other GTA 6? Any other GTA 6 leaks? Arc Raiders is doing some stuff. There's some promotion for Gamescom and some of the events next week, like Future Game Show. Are you doing the round table today? I don't know. I had plans not to be because I was supposed to be a part of Call of Duty Next, but then they had a technical test thing that you were supposed to partake in to be a part of the broadcast, and I was not able to do that. I had a prior engagement last night, and then my friend from all the way across the ocean in Korea is in town, and so I don't know. I don't know if I'll be available. Reforge, do you think this hacking situation through Xbox, what potential harm that relationship between Xbox and Rockstar? Well, no, it has nothing to do with Xbox. I think people are trying to do that, like they're trying to make it about Xbox. That's not what this is. I had people leaving comments like that. They're like, why is it always Xbox? I'm like, this has nothing to do with Xbox. It was a guy who got phished, and because he got phished, they got a hold of like Xbox dev kit or Xbox graphic file. It's not like somebody went to an Xbox employee and tricked them or something. Like, this has nothing to do with Xbox. Windows Central is reporting that Microsoft has been served a court subpoena over the GTA 6 leaks. Yeah, Microsoft and Discord have both been subpoenaed. You should ban people from talking about the leaks of GTA 6. Looks like Rockstar is going for big streamers' Discords. Talking about it's not the problem. We did not allow anybody to put anything in the Discord containing any of the leaks. We did not allow that. We were very, very strict on that. We did not allow that. If you came in and said, oh, I saw it, this and this happened, that's totally allowed. There's articles, there's YouTube videos, there's shorts. You're allowed to discuss what you saw. That they can't make a claim on that. That's ridiculous. But they can make a claim on the images and the files and the videos and stuff. We have not allowed any of that to come into our Discord. I immediately was like, don't do it. And nobody did. I think for a split second, somebody put like a screenshot and we immediately deleted it. It was like, nope, we're not doing that. We are not going to house any of that in our server. So no leaks sounds like a soft, safe space. I'm about to hop on the MW4 beta when I get home today. I hope you enjoy it. I'm looking forward to trying out the campaign. I've never been big on their PvP. As much as people like to crap on Microsoft, yeah, this situation with the GTA 6 leaks has nothing to do with Microsoft. It has nothing to do with Xbox. This 100% is, from what we can tell, a Rockstar employee in India got catfished, or whatever they call it, like where they send you an email and they're like, you know, click the link and we'll make you rich, and then they click the link. Usually it's not as simple as clicking a link. Usually it's downloading a file, like an attachment or something. Did Take-Two have to subpoena Microsoft? Seems like Microsoft would want to work with them to help find the hacker. I believe you have to do a proper subpoena because no company is just going to willingly hand over data to another company. That's like an enormous no-no. You don't do that. Your data is protected. Commonly, like, Discord can't just hand over data to another company per their own terms of service. They can't just, like, give your data away or anything like that. That's usually something that they're not going to do. They're not going to violate, you know, either trust or terms of service. They also aren't going to hurt themselves. Like, your own data, your own info is usually very valuable and worth money. So you usually have to go through a proper channel of a subpoena to get that data, because no company is going to be like, oh, sure, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Here you go. Here's all the data on those servers. Mind's Eye developer sent the link. That's right. Hacking is not illegal. It's a valid method of negative team red testing computing systems. It's illegal when authority is not provided and there is intent without authorization. Well, sure. I don't think anybody necessarily needed educated on that, SDO. I mean, I appreciate the clarity, but yeah, you're allowed to internally attempt to hack and breach your own systems to test security protocols, but you're not allowed to do it to like another company. You know what I mean? I don't know if we need that specified, but you specified it for us. Thank you. They actually can. Most companies have it in the terms of service that they can share your data with whoever they want. Most people don't read. I mean, that's probably true. Most companies probably don't give a rip and have a clause in there that they're able to do it if they want to. But generally speaking, they're not going to do that. They're going to protect their data and protect their user info because it's usually very valuable to them. You can unlock and equip the gold claws in the game. Oh, I didn't realize his claws were gold in the little clip. Other news, Bautista's now Kratos in the TV show. Dark Souls Creator says you don't have to be great at PvP in order to win in Duskbloods. Duskbloods network test has been canceled for today. They were having some kind of an issue with their servers. Hang on one second here. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Bautista needs to get back on the juice. Yeah, unfortunately, and I'm not gonna say anything about how he got that big because I don't know and it's not really my business. But he did really, really slim down. So if he wants to become, big and bulky like Kratos, he's gonna have to go through some kind of a dietary and physical regimens to get there. So, yeah. He's gonna have to get big. I mean, Kratos is big dude, and Bautista was that size. I mean, when he was Drax, he's a big guy. Even if they do catch him, or how many copies of the material was made and sent off already? Well, and that's what I was saying earlier. That like, even if they catch him and lock him up, the homie's just gonna. There's a lot of files that have been distributed already. There's graphic files from Xbox. There's a group claiming to have a dev kit and they're trying to get into it. There's anything this guy sent to anybody else. Whatever he had that was playable where he spelled his name, if it's a testing environment, if it's a testing slice, if he had a disgruntled employee make that video for him, there's just no way to know. His goal seems to be to trickle it out. To maximize attention on him and his crypto. And, so there's probably between now and whenever they catch him, they're going to be, more that he drops or plans to drop, or maybe he's distributed to other people to drop for him once if he gets arrested or whatever. Are you eyeing any big interviews coming up? No, we had some people that were willing to be on the show, and then the news cycle got pretty crappy, and I didn't want to have somebody on to be like, hey, let's have a discussion about how things are kind of crappy right now. I just didn't think that would be a good time for the folks that I was hoping to have on. So I thought, let's just kind of wait. Let's give it a little bit of time. And then, once we get into like people are playing games, having a good time with games, reviewing them, previewing them, things like that, I would say that's when it's good to have some people on. I don't like the idea of like having somebody on to be like, hey, let's talk about how everything kind of stinks right now. You know, like the news cycle just got really just kind of and it was like, yeah, let's just wait. So I definitely have some people that are willing to come on, but I didn't want to have them come on and sort of get into this sort of rut of, yeah, things kind of stink. Yeah, next subject, you know. So he was saying he was giving out installment instructions on his website for the PC beta. For the PC beta of what? Where was that? I didn't see anybody make that claim, Gone Kid, that the leaker is giving out instructions on how to play the PC beta. Surely there's no time for that, though. The whole reason he's hired is because they can't wait for Hearst. Well, I mean, have you seen some of these guys transform their bodies in 90 days? Like, it can be done. Gaming is a tale of two cities. It's the best of times, it's the worst of times. Right, and I know that no matter what, you can always look at things to make things look really bad or make things look really, really crummy. But I don't necessarily think the news cycle coming out of July, I was like, I don't want to have somebody on the show to be like, let's talk about physical digital. Let's talk about layoffs. Let's talk about that. No, just please no. I just didn't want to do that. Now we're on the cusp of like previews and reviews and like, it'd be fun to have somebody on to talk about the GTA 6 situation because I've got, pretty strong opinions about what I think that they should do. I don't really know any of the bigger GTA 6 creators that are out there. But I think that would be a really fun debate. If there's people that out there that really, really disagree with me on this, I'd be interested to see like what they think. What do they think Rockstar should do? B. Carter with the Prime. Thank you so much. First time in a long time. I'll ask my question and take your response off here. Do you prefer steak or chickens? I don't know why you put chickens plural. I think that's a little strange. I don't know why you put it plural. But I would always pick steak over chicken. If that's the question, I would pick steak over chicken. Definitely. I saw him charging people to play. I didn't see that. I saw like Aiden Ross claimed he gave him like $350,000 or something. I think people try to grab a hold of this stuff when it happens to try to get, attention, which everybody's doing, right? Everybody's covering it and talking about it. But I think sometimes people make like claims about it or, I'm going to spend money to be, oh man, it's right there. I can't get it. I spent money to play the game or whatever. I don't necessarily know if that's actually happening. I think sometimes people say that kind of thing, but really what they're doing is they're just trying to get attention. Like, I don't know if homie's out here actually selling the entire build of the game so that you can play it. I don't think that that's true. I don't. I think if you had an entire playable build of this game or a PC beta, we wouldn't be getting the footage that we're getting. I think that's a lie. Think about it. Look at the footage that he's released. That's not somebody who has a beta or the game. It's all 2 minutes. For some reason, they're all roughly the same length, too. Interesting, right? Almost like somebody was doing testing, and that was your standard testing video length, right? He leaves his little porch, and then he shoots hoops, and then he's driving around, he gets in a fight, and he drives into, like a place he's not allowed to be, and he gets into a fight with some security guards. Look at all those chickens. And then the flying around. All of those clips do not look like somebody who has access to the game and is doing whatever they want. They look like things that somebody else recorded when they were going into a testing environment to just test certain things. None of it looks like somebody has the game or has a beta, a playable beta. I'm telling you, if you could boot up the game and play it in a substantive way, those are not the clips that you'd be providing people with. You'd be going to missions, NPCs, creating chaos. You'd be doing a whole lot more than very canned footage of very basic things. There's going to be a new trailer of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Deathmaster, a new 2D action platformer, at the Future Game Show on August 26th. That actually looks pretty dope. If you're eating wings, you're almost certainly eating more than one chicken. Yeah, but nobody says that. Yeah, he said talk to text. Sorry. Yeah, he didn't mean to make it plural. I was like, who says chickens plural? I mean, I guess we do that with, you would do that with cheeseburgers. You'd be like, do you like burgers or chicken? You know? But I don't think I've ever heard anybody make chickens plural. Do you like burgers or chickens? Also, what was strange is when he shot his handle on the wall, it didn't have the usual watermark. Yeah, it was like he was suddenly doing something else. It was like, oh, maybe it was a small testing environment. Maybe it was some other thing. And it was also a super short clip. I mean, again, there's more reason to doubt that he has the full build than to believe he has the full build. I don't see reason to think that he's got the full build or a beta or, you know, this close to release that somebody out here is just walking around with the PC build of the game. What? This close to crunch time and ship time? You got guys walking around with a PC build of the game? I don't know. The only way I would be compelled to think that that's what was going on is if that's why the security loosened up. You're crunching down on the main game and the console version of the game, and you've got other departments starting to spin up work for the PC version, and that's how this happened. We don't seem to have any indication that that's what's going on. Bring me 2 whole fried chickens, a loaf of white bread, and a Coke. There you go. Won't somebody please think of the chickens? That's right. Looks like it's indefinitely being delayed to PC. Why would you think it's going to be indefinitely delayed to PC? What in this situation makes you think that? That was the other thing I said in my video, is that if they decide to not do anything, this guy can basically walk out in front of anything that they try to do and say, hey, I have something new. Like, he can basically step out in front of anything that they attempt to do from a marketing perspective. The Netflix event, any of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the other issue, is that if you continue to let him garner interest from people of like, oh, hey, everybody's starving for gameplay. Here's gameplay. Here's some GTA 6 gameplay leaks. He can do that before every single thing they attempt to do. Like, he knows that they're going to do this Netflix thing next week, and it wouldn't surprise me if he has planned, trickle out leaks between now and then. It takes a PC to stir this up. You're going to have to walk me through that. So you think because a guy used a PC to do this and stir up all this trouble, they're going to delay their PC release? I don't think those things are necessarily connected. I don't know. My interpretation of Strauss Zelnick's comments was that the GTA 6 release date on PC would be faster than it was in the past. That was my understanding of his comments. It was like it seemed to me that PC was a bigger priority for them, and that they were going to make sure that the game shipped on PC sooner than it did in the past. Going to be crazy when next gen drops and games still come out at 30 FPS. I don't know why you're saying that. Sorry, it's 4 whole fried chickens and a Coke and some dry white toast. It's been a while since I've seen the Blues Brothers. Why is Dawn Walker 30 FPS? They're doing a quality mode and a balanced mode. For whatever reason, the game is not shipping with the performance mode. And a 5-bomb comes from Mike on the mic, trying to get us a little bit closer, gets us to 3-3-1. Behemoth jumps in with him and does a single and gets us to 3-3-2. Thank you, boys. We need 500 members for the Saturday night stream with Madam. If you guys want to continue playing the big walk, you got to hit stretch, which you can hit stretch on the Saturday nights. Better hit it before then, because then you don't have to worry about it. But it's within reach. It's within reach. Let me see what the guys are saying. Don Walker, why? Yeah, I mean, it's an ambitious title. It's a big world. There's a lot of mechanics. I mean, maybe they maybe they ran into issues. I don't know. They could be using a lighting system for the nighttime and the daytime. Ginger says we just need 33 people, 33.6 people to drop a 5-bomb. Yeah. Ginger, I should be able, I've not heard anything, and it's not like your show is a 3-hour-long show or something where like we get locked in. I've not heard anything from my buddy about today, so I should be good to go to hop on the show. I was expecting him to text and be like, hey, this is what I'm going to be doing today. Do you want to get together? He may have some things going on. I think we're going to try tomorrow and Sunday to hang out, though. So I should be good to go. The leaks look awful. The video quality is like 720. The watermark's in the way. The footage looks blurry and the colors look washed out. Netflix 4K footage will overpower it. So I don't disagree with what you're saying, but I think that you could combine what you're saying with sneak peeks that make these leaks a non-starter. Haseo gifts a single and bumps us, to 333. I think both things can be true, Olditron. Like, I feel like both things can be true. Yes, we are in agreement. That's all I can do till next Friday. Haseo, you've done more than enough. It's somebody else's turn to step up, right? Truth be told, Haseo, we don't always want people going crazy. We want people to start to feel like, oh, maybe I should grab my own. That's totally fine, brother. And when people go crazy and gift and bless a bunch of others, that's also welcome. You never need to feel like you need to do that every single week forever. Like, that's not the expectation that I have. Sad for Don Walker on the PS5 Pro. Yeah, part of me is actually I'm not glad, because there are people probably looking forward to the game that are bummed. I'm like selfishly feeling some measure of relief, because Blood of Dawn Walker drops around the exact same time as I'm not going to play Crimson Moon, I don't think. Moonlighter 2, Orbitals for the Switch 2, and Onimusha. Like, Blood of Dawnwalker is the day before Onimusha, and I'm way more interested in Onimusha. They should have cast Bella Ramsey as Kratos. Missed opportunity. Yeah, I mean, she could have been like, I'm gonna be a dad, you know. That would have been the opening line of the game, you know. Dun dun dun. You know. The legendary God Lao Fei has died, and the responsibilities of fatherhood pass to you. And the camera slowly pans over to her. She still doesn't look any older than a 14-year-old asking for the keys to the car, and she says, I'm gonna be a dad. It could be a legendary trailer. And Atreus is like, what the they like spin the camera, you know, and Atreus is like, who the F are you? Oh my gosh, it's unbelievable. Leaks are a non-starter with the mainstream. They aren't aware of them. Here's why I don't agree with that. I usually agree with what you're saying. But this is GTA 6 we're talking about. These leaks have touched the mainstream, homie. They have. They've touched the mainstream. People know about them. It affected the stock value for a couple of days. Right? I don't think a game of this size and caliber, it like when something like this happens, I don't think that like the public is just like, huh? What? I didn't hear about that. Are you sure? Like, no. This is 100% a known thing. It is known. People are talking about it. People that are not in our world, people that are not in our Discords and Reddits and Twitter feeds and blah, 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 they are all talking about it. Did you see those leaks? Did you see those leaks? My buddy sent me some leaks. Did you see those GTA 6 leaks? This is a very, very different size and scope of a situation, as well as a different size and scope of a game. There's still time to cast Tom Holland as Atreus. Did they really lose billions? I mean, the stock value did drop, yes. It's currently on its way back up. And prior to the leaks, their stock was kind of going up and down. Now, I don't know exactly why. I'm not a financial expert. My own superficial sort of like guess as to what was going on is people were buying on the dip, selling at a peak, and then it would dip, and more people would buy on the dip and sell at a peak. You know, until the game is really, really picking up steam. Because like once they did the pre-order thing, it was like a whole week of value, like just going up and up and up and up. And then it settled, and it would dip. A bunch of people would buy on the dip, and then it would go up, and then it seemed like a bunch of people would sell. Because there was no news coming out, and it was still going up and down, up and down, up and down. The leak seemingly caused a very similar phenomenon of like, it definitely took a big dive, and then it looks like a bunch of people bought on the dip, and it bounced back, both yesterday and early this morning. Let's check it. Yeah, it's on its way back up. Like, you can literally see, going back to May, it's like up, dip, up, dip, up. Like, it just keeps doing that, and that's likely because, you know, year to date, if you look at it, it's tracking up. Why? Because all this year, the value of the stock is going up because there's projections about sales, and the trailer happened, and then the pre-orders got opened, and then the event with Netflix is going to happen. If you go last like month, you can totally see it goes up and then down, and then a bunch of people buy on the dip, and then it goes up, and then it goes down. Then a bunch of people buy on the dip, and it goes up. Like, I'm not an expert. That's just my superficial analysis of what might be happening. Overall, for the year, it's going up because your shareholders and people are buying in to be like, I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that stock. They're about to have really, really big earnings. They're about to have a really, really big fiscal period. And then the fluctuations along the way are likely related to people buying on dips and selling at peaks. That's the best you're going to get from me as a guy that, like, doesn't know much at all about stocks and how they operate. I've just seen that type of behavior before. Now, this week, when the stock value dropped and people were like, I thought, the shareholders didn't care about Twitter. This isn't about Twitter. This is about instability, right? This is about instability. Shareholders don't like that. They don't like instability. They don't like threats of a data breach. They don't like, they don't like uncertainty. They don't like uncertainty. And so that's why this week we saw it take a bit of a dip, but then it's bouncing back. Now, I don't know if they're making private assurances to the shareholders to say, we're going to take care of this. The subpoenas going out today might be part of the reason it's going up, because it's like, hey, that's a show of force. Let's get this guy. Let's shut him down. So I don't know. What's good, Chrono? Thank you for the raids. Let's get a timer going for the gaming roundtable today. At 1. There you go. You guys have an hour and 25 to hit the goal. Thank you for keeping me in the know when it comes to anything gaming news, updates, and your perspectives on a day-to-day basis. Keep up the great work. I appreciate that, Citizen JV. Gone Kid says, Lono, another thing too, we don't know if they got any other source codes and materials for any other games. Oh, for other games. I doubt they just look at GTA 6. They probably got Red Dead 3, other GTA remakes or remasters coming. Well, I don't necessarily think there's reason to think that the leaker got their hands on any of that stuff. Right? Because this seemingly was one person. So one person wouldn't have that level of reach and access. Like within a company this size, you get access to like one person's laptop. It's really unlikely that they're going to have access to all of this information about all these different various games. That's probably not the case. This is probably, again, somebody who had testing files, video files, various recordings of the game. And I think this guy's trying to make it seem as though he has the game or a playable version of the game. And I believe that if he did, we would be seeing significantly more than we already have from him. I think he's playing a game. Thank you guys for 250 likes, by the way. We're about 2 hours into the broadcast, so let's try to get to 300 likes. We like to hit those like milestones on the hour. It's very, very helpful. Very, very helpful. Oh, the Xbox leaker is the second person, not the main guy. Keep that in mind. Yeah, I know. I've said that there's a second. It's not just a second guy. It seems like it's a second group. It seems like it's a second group that got access to like the Xbox GPU files and the guys who claimed they had the dev kit. I don't know if those guys' claim ended up being true or not. It doesn't seem like it was. So it seemed like they had something that looked like a dev kit, but then it was only like some kind of a GPU file that they were able to pull things out of. They were able to pull out like topography, 3D models, things like that. So, not a lot of other gaming news going on. I mean, this is obviously taking a lot of attention off of anything else that happens. Gamescom's next week. We did have the announcement that Blood of Dawnwalker does not have a performance mode. Blood of Dawnwalker has a quality and a balanced mode, a 30 FPS and a 40 FPS mode. Dave Bautista has been cast as Kratos in the TV show, the God of War TV show. And the Duskbloods network test got canceled for today. For those who are hoping to jump in, looking like you will not be able to do that. So it's not worth it as The Last of Us 2 or leakers. They spoil key moments. Yeah, that was the other worry. Like I said yesterday, I think the calculus changes if people have an actual dev kit or the full story. Check out the trailer for Golden Axe series that dropped. It looks really good. Yeah, I saw screenshots and snippets here and there. Where are they putting that show? I remember going to the bowling alley as a kid growing up, and that was the game that like the older guys would play. They loved it. They were really good. Like the younger kids would literally watch the older kids play Golden Axe. Oh, Paramount Plus. Yeah, we've been wanting to. I think we'll get Paramount Plus again at some point because we did like Strange New Worlds, and so we'll get it again. We're currently working our way through the old school classic show, 90s classic show, Beyond Belief, with Jonathan Frakes. So the only news we have now is that Take-Two has sent subpoenas to Microsoft and Discord over the GTA 6 leaks. It's being investigated by pretty much probably all these platforms. You can get Paramount Plus for free if you do Walmart Plus. Huh. We don't do that. Is that like their delivery subscription thing? I think my wife did that with Kroger, and we use that. Strange New Worlds is so good. We really liked it. I don't know how far behind we are. I think just one season. Yeah, or Gauntlet. Yeah, Gauntlet show would be good. Warrior needs food badly. Yellow Valkyrie shot the food. I remember it would always call out. Did you get the YouTube vids of Jonathan Frakes asking random questions? Yeah, I've seen those montages before. It's like, the minute you go to put your kid to bed, it's like, have you ever been alone at night? Have you ever locked your keys in your car? It's just a barrage of questions. Feds have a gaming division. I'm sure they have a division for all sorts of the tech sector because of this kind of stuff that can happen, stuff that can get stolen, stuff that can get hacked. Yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah. Well, boys, we got about an hour and 18 left in the show, and we're running on fumes right now. We got something. We got to have something to talk about. If you guys have seen anything from the week, stories from the week, or today, or upcoming games, or anything you want to ask about or talk about, we're gonna have to stoke these fires a little bit. We've got a ways to go here, and I wasn't sure if there'd be any other developments today with respect to the GTA 6 leaks or anything else, and it is all quiet on the Western Front out here, which is pretty typical of Friday. We watched a couple episodes. We both got hooked. $10 from Marcus. Thank you so much for the super chat. That's very kind of you, adding to the super chat goal, my friend. Very generous. Did you see the drama around Star Citizen in their live stream that did not go well? Yeah, it looked like they basically had to cancel the stream during it. Like they got soft locked, and somebody said it's your stream ended or something like that. That's crazy. Mortal Shell 2. I kept giving you guys a chance, like a stretch goal to make me play it, Lord Finesse, and every time I would throw it out there, it would like literally people would stop. So I stopped offering it as an incentive. It's like people didn't want me, I guess, to play it. So, but I was pretty sure I would get about halfway through it and probably burn out. I just don't have a palate for like Souls or Souls adjacent games anymore. The PlayStation boycott starts Monday. I'm sure it'll be very successful. Did you see all the GTA 6 leaks this week? We could talk about that. Yeah, if you guys didn't see these GTA 6 leaks, they're pretty crazy, right? How much Black Flag do you have left to play, says Zinthos. I think I'm 40% through. I'm about 40% through. Yeah. The Xbox leaker is the second person. I already read that. Even Charlie made a vid. It was so cringe. Oh, the Star Citizen thing. Are you planning on playing the Sinking City 2? It doesn't really call to me. I know people that liked it and they think it's like a charming little homage to like Resident Evil. I don't really have time for it right now. Excited for the new Black Myth. We watched the footage yesterday, and I think it looks good. But I also followed Black Myth Wukong for 4 or 5 years, and I was a huge fan. I said it could have been a Game of the Year contender, and then it dropped, and the performance on console was terrible. It still isn't good, in my opinion. I don't think it's very good. When you play very well optimized, very polished Souls games like Lies of P, First Berserker Kazan, Sekiro, and then you go into Black Myth, I just think Black Myth is woefully below par on console. I know people got it running fine on PC. I'm not going to play the dadgum game on PC. I bought it on my console. I'm worried that the new Black Myth game is giving me similar vibes. It's like, yeah, it looks incredible. It looks fantastic. Art direction looks dope. The fighting looks dope. The fact that they're adding like a block and parry to it, it's not just all dodges. All that looks dope to me. But I'm also kind of like, am I going to buy this day one and have a game that has a bunch of performance issues? I've expressed my concern about that as well with respect to Tides of Annihilation and Phantom Blade Zero. Are these games that are going to be heavily optimized for PC because it's their primary audience, and is console going to get left behind? Mike and Mike with the $5 super chat. I got a random question. What is Sony going to do with Bungie? Serious question, by the way. It's a fair question. I think Marathon is basically landing exactly where I said it would land. It's pretty much landing in an untenable position. I don't think this is tenable. I don't think this is survivable. What's interesting is I was watching a video this morning of Delayed Input. Kyle Bossman was doing the video about the fighting game that's closing down. What is it, 2XKO or whatever it's called? What's that game called that's shutting down? 2XKO. And what was really, really interesting is their transparency about the way they phrased certain things was very interesting to me. So they were saying things that I thought, we're going to hear this same thing we're going to hear this exact same thing from Bungie very soon. I'm trying to find the exact phrasing that they used. So they said, not just oh yeah, this is it. Okay. So they said, we evaluated the game's overall performance, not just revenue, but retention, new players, and engagement through 2026. We saw positive player reactions through the releases of these characters and some amazing competitive events throughout the year. Okay? This is the kicker. This is what made me think of Marathon. Even in these highlight moments, however, we saw no meaningful sustained change in 2XKO's trajectory, only a fraction of what it would take to trend toward sustainability. Okay? When I read that, and I look at this, and I hit max on the Steam charts for Marathon, I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what's going on with Marathon. That's exactly what I said was going to happen with Marathon. You were going to slip below minimum viable player numbers. You were going to slip below sustainable numbers. Like, the game won't work right when you get this low. Just in the last week, during their off-peak hours, they're getting down to like 1,200 players on Steam. Homie, that's dead. That's not sustainable. It isn't sustainable. You're hitting player peaks of 3,000? Like, I absolutely hate to kick a game in a community while it's down, but sometimes, you know, the best bedside manner is to say, you're gonna die. Make your phone calls. You know, have your family come in and say their final goodbyes. You're dying. Like, sometimes bedside manner's got to be pretty frank with people. Like, you know, I'm not talking about being like lacking, you know, compassion or kindness, but just to be truthful. It's dead, boys. 3,000 player peaks down to 1,000 players in your off-peak hours. It's done. It's over. I don't know how you can read the 2XKO announcement about shutting down and then look at Marathon and be like, oh no, Marathon's fine. It's over, boys. So what are you going to do with them? I don't friggin' know. I think they got to take Destiny 3 out of incubation and fund it. If not, just shut them down. Call it a day. Take all their data, take all their infrastructure, institutional knowledge, hand Destiny to somebody else, and just shut them the frick down so we can stop talking about it. Like, either book Destiny 3 and fund Destiny 3, or let's just do this now. Just end it. Just end the pain and suffering for everybody who's there wondering what in the frick's going to happen next. Sneaky Wolf with a $10 super chat says, 2XKO should be a lesson to all fighting game devs to not launch region-locked fighting games. Once again, fighting games are already a small community. Just stupid in my opinion. I had a fun time with Marathon, but it's time to give it its farewell voyage. It's not even time to put it have a farewell voyage. Put it in the ground, put dirt on it, and just move on. That's what I'm saying, Lono. Either do D3 or shut them hoes down. I'm not trying to lack compassion. These are people. They pay their bills. They buy food and provide for their families with their jobs at Bungie. That's why I'm looking at PlayStation. I'm like, you need to do the hard thing. Be bold. All right? It's time for some boldness. It's time for some courage. Walk out into the public and say, this didn't work. We're shutting it down. And the only way for Bungie to be the Bungie that we want them to be, that they want to be, and that you want them to be, is to put them to work on Destiny 3. If you can't do that, then end the suffering, shut them down. Take all the institutional knowledge, take all the live service data, house it within SIE, offload a bunch of those people into SIE, and give Destiny to somebody else. Like, make a decision, for Pete's sakes. You know, after what just happened with Horizon Hunters Gathering, somebody's going to have some Everest-sized balls to lead this company, because they've got a lot of bad things they're going to have to do before it gets better. They've got good things in the pipeline. Saros was this year. Wolverine is coming. Phantom Blade Zero looks like it's going to be an amazing partnership for their brand, particularly in China. Then next year, we're looking at maybe Intergalactic. We're looking at Venom, right? GTA 6 is going to do a lot of lifting of the PlayStation footprint. They're going to help. A lot of revenue is going to come from it. That doesn't mean that they don't have challenges ahead. And it's going to take some boldness and some courage to do the hard things. And you got to get Herman Holst out of the building. I don't even know why he's still there. I don't even know what he's doing. I went back and listened to my rant about the Horizon Hunters Gathering situation. Yeah, Lao Fei's next year. Lao Fei will probably do very well, okay? I went back and listened to my rant about the Horizon Hunters Gathering situation. I don't know how something like that happens. I don't. I don't know how something like that happens. I don't know how you go from just lesson after lesson after lesson of don't have your single player first party studios making live service games. Don't do it. Naughty Dog was going to have to change into a live service studio in order to support factions. So why on earth would you want that for Guerrilla? I want to sit that person down and to be like, were you okay with the future where Guerrilla became a live service studio? Were you okay with that? Have you looked at the life cycle of most of these live service games? Like, you were okay with basically turning Guerrilla into a live service studio to have 2 years of ongoing revenue? And if their answer to that question was, yes, I was willing to do that, I'd be like, I'd like your resignation, because you're a moron then. You should have never looked at the pedigree, the institutional wealth that you have in Guerrilla and in Decima and piss it away on Horizon Hunters Gathering. You should be out of the building, fired. You are clueless. An absolute misuse of funds, a misuse of something that has so much value right now. Right now, one of the main things that we look for in gaming is authenticity, uniqueness, identity, strong art direction, optimization, a good engine. These are all things that Guerrilla has in spades, and you have them piddling around with a live service game. Oh my gosh. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. I went back and looked at my coverage, and I was like, maybe there's some audience for this game. I was like, most of us seem to have no interest in it. And then we find out that most of the studio is working on it, and it's like, well, I guess you guys didn't learn your lesson. It's like watching a boxer who keeps leaning in and getting his clock cleaned, and they're like, maybe they'll go different this time, and they lean in and bow. It's like, yep, it's what's going to happen. The first thing they were guilty of was it was like ignorance mingled with hubris. It was like this ignorant, hubristic idea that you could just have a single player studio just whip up a live service game. Okay, that's brazenly ignorant as well as hubristic. To think that oh yeah, we just whip up a live service game. They've never done it before and they can do it. That's ignorant. That's hubristic. Then they learn that that's not a good idea. Okay, now it's time to course correct. But they don't course correct. You pull Bend off theirs. Bend has survived. Bend has a new project. Thank goodness. Thank goodness they have a new project. Okay, so they pull Bend off theirs. They pull Bluepoint off theirs. Bluepoint can't find a project. They don't land on their feet. PlayStation, to their credit, works with them to try to find them something to do, and Bluepoint doesn't want to be a support studio, so Bluepoint gets shut down, right? They did something similar with Nixxes, by the way. Nixxes no longer has ports to work on because they're no longer porting their games to PC. Nixxes is now a support studio, and Nixxes is seemingly working with PSSR and Cerny. I've heard a little birdie talk about how Nixxes is also helping with hardware, okay? So Nixxes sort of adapts, okay? Why on earth, then, do you look at Guerrilla and not say, maybe we shouldn't have them doing this? After Naughty Dog's debacle and wasted time on factions, after Concord, after Bend and Bluepoint, you still have them going full force on Horizon for a year and 8 months? Early 2025 is when they canceled the Bluepoint and the Bend projects. Why on earth? The early speculation is that development started on Horizon Hunters Gathering in 2021. 5 years. Now, almost 2 of those years, they knew full well they shouldn't have been doing it. For about 2 years, they easily, I would argue for more. I'd argue for 3 years they've known you should not have Guerrilla working on this. As soon as Naughty Dog got told what they got told, you should have pumped the brakes and been like, wait a minute, you're going to have to completely change the fabric of Guerrilla. If this is successful, they have to become a live service game to support it. whoever looked at that decision straight face and said, let's do it, is an idiot, because it's like, that's not what you should have Guerrilla working on. That's not their worth. That's not their value. Their value is not in cranking out battle passes and seasons for Horizon Hunters Gathering. Ben's been working on another project since 2023. Burning Shores came out in April 2023, so most of the studios spent 3 years on it. And in those 3 years, they consistently learned that it was a bad idea, and they ignored all the warning signs. That's why I hold them fully responsible. I hold PlayStation, Herman Holst, any of the leadership at Guerrilla, they're all responsible for this. It's like, I don't know what made you guys think. I'm going to tell you what this is. I think every studio has a dangerous level. Every successful AAA studio has a dangerous level of hubris. How many times have we seen this? BioWare Magic. Bungie had their own version of this. There's all these studios that think that they can just crap gold just given time, effort, and money. Like, I really do think, really successful studios, the biggest danger, the biggest thing they could run into, the glacier waiting for them, is their own hubris, because they think, oh, we could do that. We could definitely do that. I think Naughty Dog had the same mentality. Oh, look at Fortnite. We could do that. We're Naughty Dog after all. Nope. You got no clue what you're doing. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if Guerrilla had a similar idea. Yeah, Bethesda. These studios just think their crap doesn't stink. And it's like, you guys have done good work. You've had a lot of success, and you're a household name. But sometimes your own hubris, your own confidence, it is a glacier just waiting for you to run square into it. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if studios like Guerrilla, they all get in a room and they think, come on, guys. I mean, we gambled on Horizon, and look how it turned out. And then here we sit. It's like, okay, so 3 years. 3 years of ignoring all the warning signs of Naughty Dog and Concord and Bend and Bluepoint and Highguard. You just ignore all that and you think you're going to be different? Welcome back to reality, PlayStation. Welcome back to reality, Guerrilla. Yeah, your game doesn't look any good. Nobody wants it. You wasted a bunch of time. You had another single-player studio tasked with making a live service game. Congratulations, you threw more money and time into the toilet. Excellent work. Good job. I feel like that's a cycle with Sony. They get a little too big for their britches. I don't know if this is a Sony thing or is it an executive level thing? Like, do executives get a lot of money and get a lot of success and then think, well, I tell you what we should do. You know, we should invest in X, Y, and Z. We should do this. We should do that. I think you always run into the danger and the dilemma of viewing studios like just a cog in a machine where we just need them to spin out a game. And you forget that there is an enormous difference between what it would take to build and support something like a Horizon Hunters Gathering and what it takes to build and ship a Horizon sequel. They're not the same animal. They're not the same animal. Let's go away from what made it successful. I think we see this in other industries. I think you see like a band get really popular. Everybody really likes the front man. Everybody really thinks he's you know, handsome or talented, or he's the guy, or he's the reason they're so successful, right? And then the front man tries to break off on his own. And it's not the same. Right? It's not the same. And I feel like some of these studios get that idea of like, well, we're so good and we're so successful. Well, why don't we try and do that thing over there that makes tons of money? I'm sorry. I know a lot of y'all are good on Bungie, but the current strategy pisses me off. I think Bungie did the same thing. Now, I know people are trying. I don't know if you guys have seen the headline. It's the classic blame PlayStation thing, which is just infuriating because it's so dishonest, and it gives Bungie and Pete Parsons a huge pass. Did you guys see the headline where they're like, Bungie had 5 to 6 games in production that have all since been canceled or something since the PlayStation buyout? And it's like, hey, gaming press, thanks for catching up to the Pete Parsons blog that was written like 3 years ago. I'm so glad you're all caught up on news from 3 years ago that has nothing to do with PlayStation. But thank you so much for taking us on another round of dishonest headlines in the gaming news cycle. Like, trying to make it seem like, well, PlayStation bought Bungie and then everything went bad. And it's like, go read the Pete Parsons blog post. He says for 5 years, he wrote it in 2024, I think. He says for 5 years we've been doing this. As early as 2019, they put all these incubation projects into place, and it runs the company into the red. But here comes the gaming press. Oh, let's make it seem like it was PlayStation's fault. PlayStation bought Bungie, and then all these projects got stopped or shut down or failed or flopped. Like, you literal buffoons, go read Pete Parsons' blog post. It's 2 years old at this point. The homie admitted it was his fault. He admitted they were running the company in the red. It had nothing to do with PlayStation. Bungie did the same thing. Bungie thought, we're making all this money. We're sitting high in the hog. Let's do a bunch of incubation projects. Let's launch a bunch of games. Let's become a publisher. Let's open up a studio in Amsterdam. And then they ran out of money. Part of the Bungie deal with Sony is that Bungie would be independent. Yeah, that's another, fact that's inconvenient when people want to make things up and run false run misleading headlines or run false headlines. That's just the state of the gaming coverage that we have now, is that you ignore the facts and just make up your own narratives. And then when you try to correct these narratives, you'll get called all sorts of names. Like, oh, well, you're just being a PlayStation shill and a pony. And it's like, no, I just went on an absolute tirade about how terribly managed they've been with respect to live service and how stupid this was and how they're wasting money. But you don't get to pin Bungie's failings on PlayStation. It's dishonest. Yeah, they wanted to get into publishing. Bungie wanted to get into publishing. Yes. They were making a ridiculous amount of money, but the thing that always came knocking for them is their burn rate. Their cash burn rate was ridiculous. They were like the John Ralphio of business philosophy. You got to spend money to make money. They spent money very quickly. They took $100 million from NetEase, so it's not like they even had a massive bank of cash even in the good days. Well, I think when Destiny was generating tons of money, they were burning through the money. This is why when people say that, like, well, Destiny was never profitable, it's like, no, Bungie. No, they say Destiny was rarely profitable. No, Bungie was rarely profitable. Does it, like, if I'm selling a gadget and that gadget is making me $1 million a year and I'm blowing all that revenue on other ideas and stupid things and office parties and everything else, you would never say that the gadget wasn't profitable. You would say that I was bad at business. Man, this guy's generating $1 million a year and he's just blowing it on all this other crap. Like, it is not an indictment of Destiny. It's an indictment of Pete Parsons. That's why I get so frustrated with those kinds of headlines. It's like, he was a terrible leader. He was a terrible CEO. He burned through cash like a maniac and then walked away and leaves the company in shambles. And then people want to blame big bad PlayStation. Meanwhile, that guy rides off into the sunset with all this money, and people are like, yeah, it's PlayStation's fault. Oh, gosh. They had 6 games in development. They burned the money. Yeah. Yeah, knitting classes and all the rest. Just stupid. Bungie would not have sold if they were in a good position. That's the other thing people always conveniently leave out. That they were in a financially, precarious spot, which is the entire reason that they approached them for buyout. They needed to be bought out. They were headed for disaster. They were headed for disaster, which is why they entered into the buyout agreement to begin with. They bought out their independence, and then all of a sudden, it was like, oh yeah, we don't want to do this. It was like, wait a minute. You buy out your independence, and then you immediately don't want to be independent? That doesn't make any sense. It's cringe. What's cringe about it? Loose light. What are they promoting here? Oh, they had a countdown. And now they're talking. They're showing some gameplay. Yeah. They were under Microsoft and Activision. Psychonauts team Double Fine is going to share what's next for the studio today as part of a live stream on the Kinda Funny Games YouTube channel. Yeah, I mean, they're independent now, and then they had to do some layoffs. So we'll see how quickly they can turn things around and start working on something. You see what happened to South of Midnight Studio? Yeah, they're now bought. They've bought their own independence, right? Which I think they're probably going to go through their own round of layoffs then. They're going to have to restructure. That's very, very common. Like, you buy your independence like that, and you're probably going to have to do some layoffs. They were difficult to work with under Microsoft and Activision. Now they're the same with Sony. Wolverine's gone gold. Yes. Yes, indeed it has. Has gone gold. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button. Get us 30 more likes. Try to get us at the 300 mark. I'm quite late, but I did see that the GTA leakers may get identified via the crypto wallet. There's been a handful of people that have said, you know, they've tracked them down, they've found them. There's been efforts to say, oh, this is the guy, you know, we got him or whatever. I personally think that people should be a lot more careful with that. I've seen 4 different names and 4 different faces, and people are claiming, oh, this is the guy. And I'm like, you guys shouldn't be doing that. So People should be very, very careful with Do you think the gaming industry was always this hectic and we just didn't know because of the pre-social media? Yeah, I think social media and the information age that we live in, I think we're at a time where there's almost too much information. And I think this touches everything, by the way, not just gaming. So I think in general, we have access to too much information. And so it leads to paranoia, it leads to anger, it leads to, like a lot of lack of like emotional maturity. And I think a lot of it comes from the overwhelming amount of information. So like in the gaming world in particular, what I think is happening is we're getting insight into things that have always happened, and it makes us think that everything's terrible. So games have always been canceled constantly. Money has probably constantly been wasted on bad ideas. It's probably a very common occurrence. Shuhei Yoshida said, yeah, we cancel games all the time, right? And he always said, I'm trying to save the studio from shipping something that we don't think is going to be good or what have you. But now we have this overwhelming amount of information. Like, we know so much, and it makes us think like, oh my gosh, everything's terrible. Now, obviously, I'm going in on Guerrilla and PlayStation for the decision with Horizon Hunters Gathering. And the main reason for that is they have tons of information in front of them that should have dissuaded them from doing this. Like, it's not my opinion that, like, Horizon Hunters Gathering is wrong, so I'm going to go in on them. It's, you guys are figuring this out now. You should have known all this 3 years ago, right? But I definitely think you can look at, like, canceled games, insider reports, leaks, this, that, and the third, and it can make you feel like everything is bad. Like, I try to maintain both things. Like, yes, I'm going to be critical. I think this was a stupid idea. I think this was a mistake. But I'm also not doing like the YouTube doomer thing where I'm like, AAA gaming is a disaster. AAA gaming is coming to an end. AAA gaming is bombing, and the industry's going to break, and we're going to have a bust, and we're going to have a crash. I feel like a lot of that is just sort of like dooming, and a lot of it's based off of like things that historically we just didn't know. Yeah, leak culture, all of that. Apologies from earlier PC remarks, venting a frustration. I don't even know what I don't know what you're apologizing for. I often think back into the 2000s as a team. I only got gaming info once a month from a magazine, and that was more condensed and segmented, if that makes sense. It wasn't all time. Well, we saw this happen to the news industry, right? If they're constantly trying to get your attention, they constantly have to basically make everything insane and scary. You're not gonna respond or watch if not. And I think we're in a similar pattern with like gaming. Well, everybody that's trying to get you to read their article, their tweets, or their videos, well, they're competing with 1,000 other people that are trying to get you to watch their stuff and to click on their stuff. So what are they going to do? They're going to exaggerate. They're going to inflate. Yo, Risick with the gifted, thank you so much, and he gets us to 334. So I get why people do it, but what ends up happening is every headcanon then is in that state of exaggeration. And Risick with another gift that gets us to 335. So it's not that things are like, oh man, they really need to get into a better place over there. It's, they're doomed. Do you see? It's not like, oh, they need to make some course corrections. It's, they're cooked. Thank you, Risick, for another gift that he's doing a little single train on his own. Thank you, Risick. So you're telling me that the open mouth thumbnail with the fire in the background is fake? Everybody's playing the same game. It's like everybody has to speak in hyperbole to get your attention. So what you do is you internalize hyperbole as headcanon. It's like everybody is saying this. Well, they're saying that because that's the best way to get your attention. So everybody internalizes. Like, so my video where I was critical about the Horizon Hunters Gathering situation and I called it a disaster, I had people leaving comments and they're like, PlayStation might not survive this gen. And I'm like, what? Do you see, like, they have just completely taken in and absorbed through osmosis or whatever, like, just utter hyperbole, like such exaggeration. So they make this miscalculation with Gorilla. I admit, it's dumb, it's frustrating, it's a waste of time and money, but being like, yeah, dude, PlayStation they might not survive this gen. Huh? They're having their most profitable gen ever. GTA 6 isn't even in the market yet. Like, what do you mean? Their pipeline of upcoming titles is strong. And a five-bomb comes in from Risic. This is Risic's world, and we're just living in it. Thank you, sir. So nobody can say, like, this was a really stupid decision, and I think this is how they should course correct. It's always, they're done, they're cooked, they're crashing and burning. And it's like... And the thing that really chaps my butt about it is these YouTubers and people that do this, it's like they do it every week. And a 10 bomb from Ginger gets us to 350. And In the Water gifts a single and gets us to 352. So for years they've been telling you that everything's crashing and burning and coming to an end. Okay, when's that going to happen? 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I remember everybody was saying this. Everything's going to crash and burn. Everything's coming to an end. And it's just been like, more sales, record revenue, big game releases. Oh, this is the best year in gaming ever. Oh, the Game of the Year competition is so hot this year. But every year we have to hear from the same chuckleheads that, like, everything is bad, everything sucks, everything's crashing and burning. Oh my gosh, Risic. And a 50 bomb from Risic. This guy pulling you guys out of the fire once again. 402. 402 members with a goal of 500. The goal is within reach now. You guys got 38 minutes to scramble together. That's the thing that irritates me is it's like, how many years are you going to do this doomer declaration that Western development's cooked, these games are going to flop, everything's bad, and then the games sell well, the studios are fine, and everything's fine. I don't know why people keep listening to you. You said this in this year, and Silent Spartan comes in, and he tag teams with Risic with another 50 bomb. You guys better spam some farty bombs. These boys are dropping. They're dropping the big ones today. You guys are going to get your Saturday stream, it looks like. I thought we were going to skip a week. Boy Who Cried Wolf. Yeah, it's like the Boy Who Cried Wolf, and yet they keep crying wolf. That's the thing that drives me nuts about it. It's like, oh, really? So you said in 2022 and 2023, 24 and 25, every year you said the same things. Everything sucks. Everything stinks. AAA gaming is cooked and dead. And here we are again every year. All your declarations turned out to be false. That's what irritates me about it, is it's like you create false headcanon. Everything's hyperbolic and exaggerated, and we got to do it for another 12 months. And then you'll do the same thing next year. It's like the guys that are like, the world is coming to an end. They get the date wrong, and they're like, no, hang on a minute. No, I got the date now. I got it. No, hang on. Hang on. Wait. I got it now. This is when this is when everything's going to end. Mystic Pause says test. I can see what you're saying. The chat got a little hijacked by some gifteds. And a 10 bomb comes in from Risic. Risic wants the glory for himself today. He wants to take the lead. He's got 65. I think he's gifted 69 members today. Nice. I remember Frost from G4 saying PlayStation was a dead man walking. Right. I still don't know why she said what she said. I don't even feel like she was grifting. I felt like she was just uninformed. Oh, Silent Spartan. Jiminy Christmas. And a 50 bomb from Silent Spartan. He said he was going out of town and the homie came back and he saved your bacon. Y'all better thank this man. You're getting your Saturday stream. Now, if y'all want us to play the big walk, that's the stretch goal. We do a second part of the stream. It's a double header. It's a longer stream. This week we should be able to start on time. My wife and I won't be going out and picking up my daughter from a youth event. She had like a pool party last week, so we started a little bit late. So this week we should be good to go. And if you guys hit stretch, we will play the big walk with you guys again. So let these big dogs take a rest. The rest of y'all should work on stretch. Don't make these guys do all the heavy lifting. Make sure, I want to see a bunch of people saying thank you to Silent Spartan and Risic as they go toe-to-toe. Silent Spartan now with 100 gifteds in a single day, and Risic at 69. I wish I had the Scrooge McDuck vault like these legends. Yeah, for real. I was gone 30 minutes and we hit the goal. Yeah. We were just chilling till Ginger's show. I was like, oh, well, I don't think we're going to hit it this week, boys. You know, I wasn't really saying anything about it. I just kind of resolved to, like, you know, I'll get Saturday night off. Tell Madden to bring the jokes. Thank you, Risic. Very generous, my friend. You guys are crazy. So we live in a constant perpetual cyclone of hyperbole, and we live in a constant perpetual cyclone of, like, exaggeration. And what it does is it becomes headcanon for everybody. Everybody is like, oh, yes, this company is about to die. This company is about to implode. Like, that guy that typed that, I don't think that he was, like, grifting. I think he genuinely was like, yeah, dude, they might not survive this gen. I feel like he genuinely thought it. Does that make sense? Like, I don't think some Randy in my comments was, like, trying to, like, wind me up and get me mad. I think he genuinely thought that. That's the hardest part about this. Is think of it like this. The person who throws the cinder block in the pond is the one to blame. All the ripples that come out from that, all the people that think these things because they watch the videos and they see the tweets, it's like, I have a hard time blaming them because it's like every time you open YouTube, every time you open Twitter, you're getting inundated with doomer. And then you're like, you like a doomer, you spit it back out. And it's like, I think a lot of people are not trying to grift. They're not trying to be a hater. They're just literally repeating what they heard. And it's like, I'm trying to be a little bit more understanding of that. To be like, okay, I'm not going to take it out on you, but I'm just going to try and tell you, hey, man, I think you're drinking from the fire hose of negativity, and it's making you crazy. It's just like in The Lord of the Rings, when Denethor was made crazy by the Seeing Stone. Sauron only fed him enough information to make him nuts. He was so strong and so incorruptible that Sauron knew, I won't be able to corrupt him, but I can give him enough information to make him crazy. Is the you versus Madam and Tokone still on the table? Yeah, I mean, if you guys manage, I made that the goal for Twitch to get us to 1,000. Because we're trying to get those sub points back up over there. That one's over there, like we're at like 850 sub points. We could do a double whammy this week. I mean, you guys only have 30 minutes, but we could do a double whammy. Like Madam and I could play Tokone for 30 minutes. Everybody could laugh at us. I've already got it. Somebody sent me a code. They were nice enough to be like, hey, I got an extra code. Do you want one? And then we could play the big walk with you guys. Oh, Spartan, you are a freaking maniac. Are you insane? How many was that? 200? How do you even do that? He just gifted 200 on Twitch. How does it even let you do that? I don't even have a 200 button. Boom, boom. 712 on the week. What the heck? He just hit the sub goal on Twitch. Just walked over and pushed the button that said finish the sub goal. It was a new feature that Twitch launched today. Oh, no, I don't think you hit finish the sub goal. I think you just dropped an even 200. You are an absolute maniac. So, I don't even know what to say. You are crazy. Thank you so much. That generosity is unseen in these spaces. Good golly. So, you guys need to rally, okay? You need to rally. You can't leave this on Silent Spartan, all right? Mike on the mic's going to gift one and get us to 712. You guys want this doubleheader? You want some Tokone? Madam and I beating each other up in Tokone? You want some big walk tomorrow night? We'll do it. We'll do all of it. But you got to get it to 750 without the help of Silent Spartan. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, these guys come in here every week saving your bacon. He's a legend. He really is. Gee, many Christmas. What just happened? I stepped away for 2 minutes. Yeah, Silent Spartan happened. Silent Spartan and Rissick. Rissick stoked the fires with a couple of singles, a 5, a 50, and a 10. Rissick was just like boom, and got the thing going. So we don't need people to go crazy right now. Okay, we don't need people to go crazy. You need 37. You need 37 members. Okay, you need 7 people to drop a 5 bomb. All right. That's it. That's it. I don't want these big dogs saving the bacon. You guys have a half an hour. You could honestly just do a bunch of singles. J. Chris is going to take the first one. There it is. A 5 bomb to 718. Broken Surprise renews for 42 months. Says big walk, big walk, big walk. And a 5 bomb comes in from Siege Master and gets us to 724. How did that not start a hype train? I don't know. He's his own hype train. Coming out of Lurk to ask Silent Spartan if he needs an assistant. Whatever he does for work, I want to do it. Oh my golly. Hope to renew soon. Yo, what's good, Run It Back? How are you? And Lone Wolf with 59 months is going to land the plane at 725. I don't even know what I owe at this point. I'll probably just do a 5 bomb on each. And Jaddix does a 20 bomb on YouTube and gets us right there. Jaddix is another one who typically comes in and drops bombs, and thank you for that. And there's a Prime on Twitch from Ain't Got No Games. They are rallying. They are absolutely rallying. And Muku drops a 5 on purple and secures the 750. Can we start where we left off in the big walk? Yeah, I think you just start off where you were. And a 10 bomb from Lone Wolf says we're not stopping. Muku renews with their Prime as well and gets us to 762. I don't even know what we're going to do. I mean, we only have 27 minutes. You guys might want to just you could tuck it away and save it for next week. That might be advisable. We don't need to go any further. You guys got your double header. You got a talk show with Madam where we kind of talk about the gaming news and get her thoughts. We will fight each other in Tokone, and then we'll play more Big Walk with you guys. Might be a good time to pump the brakes. Save your renewals and your gifteds for next week, okay? I don't have anything else to offer this week for stretch goals. The schedule is a little too full for anything else. It's going to be a pretty long stream tomorrow night as it is. What did I miss? You missed Rissick going crazy, Silent Spartan going crazy, and then a bunch of people like Siege Master and Jaddix and Lone Wolf and J. Christ capping things off, and Muku on Twitch as well. So I don't know what to say. You guys are bonkers. That's absolutely bonkers. The one dude dropped like 300. Yeah, he's a maniac, and it's him. It's not some loophole or anything like that. All those loopholes have been closed. So that homie is going big on his own. I don't know what to say other than every time he does it, I say thank you, because it supports what I do and supports my family. So we got 26 minutes to the show with Ginger. He's in the Navy. Well, thank you for your service. Jiminy Christmas. I didn't know that. So, yeah. We've been talking about all kinds of things. We talked about the GTA 6 leaks. And a single comes in from SDO. Thank you. Getting us to 763. I think what I'll do is I'll save I owe you guys each a 5-bomb. Okay? I owe each platform a 5-bomb. I will do those Saturday night. Okay? I'll do those Saturday night. Just as like a celebration when everybody's here. So, because then it'll likely then go to people that tune in that night, which I think is a good way to do it. So I owe you each a 5. So I'll do that tomorrow night to celebrate. So Madam and I will go live around 8 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure the bell button is pressed. If you haven't hit the like button yet, please do that now. That is super helpful to me. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you so much, Black98. Excuse me. Is there a green room today? I don't know. I'm going to be on Ginger's show in 25 minutes. After that, take that, Hilly. Yeah, 252 to 219. No win for you this week, Hillberg. Town Hall. Yes, the return of Town Hall is tonight. Yes. The return of Town Hall is tonight. Roundtable should be fun today. Yeah, the roundtable will be is always a good time, and we'll have a good time today with it. An RPG with 36 months. Thanks for the renewal. Gets us to 764. Tad late to the stream, but I do want to hop in on the big walk. Yeah, make sure you're here. I give it's a join code. Isn't that what it was? We do the join code in the Discord. Great reason to be a member. Great reason to be in the Discord. It's a great reason to be a VIP. We should probably make that one room open to member pluses and VIPs, because we do the join code for you guys first. And for people that have upgraded to Member Plus or the VIP, because it's an extra $1 for Member Plus, but what it does is it gets you out of the gifted pool. We could probably adjust that room that way that you guys that go the extra distance can get access to that first, right? The join code first. Like, we want to give people that preferential treatment for supporting directly, if that makes sense. PS5 outsold the Switch 2 in July. That's surprising. I don't have a sub on Twitch. I ran out of gifted. You make a lot of smart moves with your money. I'm just trying to bless people while I'm blessed. Why? You definitely do that. You definitely bless my family, Spartan. Oh, you'll be a tad late to the stream, Broken Surprise. Yeah. We should be able to get you in. Pause. We should be able to get you into the game. I don't know how it works, though, once you start, though. I don't know how it works once you start. Like, I think because it doesn't build the puzzles and the levels according to the group size. I feel like it does that. I feel like it literally says, oh, you have 6 people, so then it scales the puzzles and everything. So I don't know if you can join like once we're up and running, which I suppose if we go for an hour or so and there's some people that want to tag in, if we get to a good stopping point, we can always break, get more people in, like remake the group or what have you. That's always an option. So remind me tomorrow night to pay up. I owe a 5 bomb to each platform. I'm playing a show at 8 p.m. Saturday. Lame, I gotta miss. Oh, well, that's a bummer. You'll have it on 4+ anyways? Huh. Once you're at 4+, are all the puzzles the same? Is it not an exact number? Is it like it scales from 2, 3 to 4+? Oh, okay. I thought it like literally did it for each group size, and I thought that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Just a few days until Gamescom. Fable Game Director will be live. Be sure to follow us for new gameplay reveals and more Gamescom coverage. I think Fable could be a really fun game as long as they get that combat right. I think because the RPG elements are going to be more casualified. So... But I think, to me, if it is more casualified, I would be... if it is more casualified, then I would need the action elements to be really good. Does that make sense? Like, I, for one, would like a more casual RPG experience. I know fans of Fable wouldn't like that. But if you're going to make it a more casual RPG experience, then I would really need the action to be solid. Does that make sense? Like, if you're not going to lean and have, like, this really robust RPG system, if it's more casualified and more simplified, Biatch comes in with a single gifted. Thank you so much, sir, getting us to 765. I told you guys to stop, and you won't listen. It's not reverse psychology. It's not reverse psychology. We could technically split into groups of 4 and divide and conquer, but chaos is always more fun, for sure. For sure. Fable could be fun, but likely going to be mid. If the action's really good, then I'd be, you know what I mean? Mystic, Pause, Shadow. I just got enough to scramble my sub on Twitch. To scrambled me sub on Twitch, huh? Thank you for 27 months. Welcome back. Why do I know your name? You've been following me since April when I got the account back, but you have like a ton of messages in the channel. Oh, keep changing your dadgum name. That's why. Did the streamer just ask us to stop? Well, I don't have any more incentives to reward you with. So if you guys get it to the next milestone of 1,000, I always end up feeling kind of bad. I don't have anything. So I'm like, all right, well, just stop and save it for next week so that way you guys can unlock. Wouldn't it be better to hit 750 next week instead of hitting 1,000 now and then not hitting 750 next week? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, then we can do the big walk every week until we're kind of done or whatever. Like, that to me makes more sense. And people are like, no, push it every week. Try to hit as much as you can. Like, I don't know. 1,000 this week and 502 next week. It's like, do you see what I'm saying? Maybe add it to next week's goal. Maybe once we're done with like, once I don't have any more stretch, we could do that. Like, if people go crazy tomorrow just to be nice, I could just say, hey, we'll roll that over into next week to give it a jump start. I think that's probably fair. Like, if I'm not actually offering an incentive, I think that's totally fair. Like, if someone shows up and just wants to celebrate their renewal and it's the night that they're available, we could just basically reset and say, hey, anything you guys do tonight is just getting next week started. That's probably a good. If I don't have an incentive, I think that's the fair way to do it. It doesn't seem fair to be like, yeah, just keep going because, like, no, let's bank it. So right now you guys have, we'll say you have 16 for next week already. Let's do it that way. Yeah, it's like rollover minutes. This is the internet. Get out of here with your logic and your sense. Mike Diesel with 56 months. Thank you so much, sir. I've been here since all the BS happened. Glad you're doing well. Have to stop by to clean up my subs. I still watch on premium YouTube. Well, thank you. I used to love rollover minutes. I just remember that episode of The Office where he walks in and he's like talking to Pam on the phone. She's like, why are you, huh? And he's like, my minutes don't roll over. He's like, I want to use my minutes. 30 FPS in 2026 is criminal. Yeah, it's pretty disappointing. I bet you Blood of Dawnwalker pushes out a performance mode eventually. I just wouldn't be surprised if it they just want to get out ahead of the rush, you know. And a 5 bomb from Skillful gets us to 772. All right. Okay. He's like, well, if you're gonna bank them, bank them. Okay. That's not a bad idea, because I think sometimes people just like to help and see the number get really, really high, and I'm always like, stop. Like, we don't want to. It's fun. But I think Blood of Dawnwalker's release timing is really probably more related to they want to get out ahead of the deluge. They want to get out ahead of GTA 6. Right? Bank it. I will do that, sir. Thank you for your kindness and supporting the channel. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Like, if you look at their release window, it's like the day before Onimusha. Onimusha backed up too. Onimusha was not originally at the beginning of September. They made their release date earlier. I don't know. That kind of bums me out, because it's kind of like, I don't want Blood of Dawnwalker to be another Beast of Reincarnation. I don't like being prophetic in these matters, but I told you guys when we did that GTA 6 effect stream, I said we might have more games that do this. We might have more games that come out, and they clearly were rushing to get ahead of GTA 6, and they're not going to be ready. And I think Blood of Dawnwalker is probably the next game that's evidently doing that. You know, Beasts of Reincarnation is... I got more frustrated the more I played, because I was like, oh man, this is really fun. I'm really liking this. And the performance issues were such an absolute buzzkill. So... I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully they can get a performance mode out soon, because I thought Blood of Dawnwalker looked really promising, personally. I thought it looked really, really promising. GTA 6 hasn't even been released, and it's causing a generational stir. I think it's going to be a good game. Beast was missing something. Beast had pretty consistent performance issues, like hitching and stuttering, and they're pushing out quality of life to their credit, but it clearly wasn't ready. It clearly wasn't ready. And listen, I'm not trying to like beat them up, but it's like, to me, they weren't ready, and they're trying to get out before the flood of games. Yeah, it had issues on console. I think it's been pretty much fine on PC, but well, is it? What's its score on Steam? It has a 63% on Steam, Rope. I don't think it was ready for either platform, to be quite honest with you. It doesn't have a good score on PC. So, yeah, there's going to be new Fable gameplay Wednesday. New Fable gameplay Wednesday, August the 26th. I still just think, yeah, they really packaged that game in a way where that one also just feels like it's got a ways to go. You're fine, Raven. Not just performance. Beast is lacking core RPG elements. Kind of hate GTA 6 for causing what should be good games to have to speed up. It's not their fault. You know what I mean? Like, if I get on a train and I get on the train with my soccer team and there's 12 of us and we take up a bunch of space and there's nowhere for you to sit down, you know what I'm saying? You could be mad at me, but it's like, what do you want me to do? The YouTuber named in Take-Two GTA 6 leaker subpoena has denied any wrongdoing. YouTuber named in Take-Two's leaker subpoena has denied any wrongdoing. It emerged that Take-Two issued a subpoena in a federal court requesting information from both Microsoft and Discord. First reported by this. It mentions this guy. Judge responded to Take-Two's subpoena and the mention of his name within it. I don't know anything, he insisted. This isn't my editor's Discord. There aren't even any clips of the leaks in either of my Discords. Oh yeah, Dark Viper is his online name. Australian GTA content creator. 2.2 million subscribers. The judge. One of the Discord servers mentioned his Discord server. Oh, I'm sorry. One of the subpoenas is mentioning his Discord server. He says, I'm confused. I did say he can't drive multiple times, so maybe I caused him to write this thing can't drive on most of the recent clips. Maybe he visited my Discord. I don't know. Rockstar hasn't emailed me. I suspect if they thought I knew something personally, they would do so. Everyone is talking about the leaks. I'm not special. He did say he accidentally showed a screenshot of the latest leaked GTA 6 video on stream, but he immediately took it down and deleted it because I don't want to get in trouble. More than likely, they're going to want to look at all Discord servers and any server that's distributing the content or housing the content's probably going to get in trouble. That's why I wouldn't let anybody do that. I was like, no, you're not allowed to post any of that stuff here. No pictures, no videos, no nothing. The problem is general public likes crap like GTA too much. I've never been able to get into it myself. Remember free nights and weekends? Yeah. Make sure we scrub. I mean, we've deleted. There was only two things. It was a cropped image of like a face, and we immediately deleted it. And that was, I think, it. I think that was the only thing that somebody posted. They took like a screenshot of his face, like down in the corner of the one clip, and I immediately was like, no, delete that. I don't want that in the server. I think that was the only thing that got posted in our server. So, you're not held like liable or culpable if somebody barges in your server and posts something, as long as you delete it. Right? There's all kinds of things you could barge into a server and post, and then that person doesn't get in trouble for that. That would be absolutely ridiculous if that were the case. So, yeah, that's not a thing. That's not a thing. I think people need to settle down a little bit if they're scared or worried. Anybody could come into your Discord server and post something that's completely wrong, right? There's all kind of content out there that can get you in trouble or arrested. As long as you delete it and don't redistribute it or don't encourage the distribution of it, you're not going to be in any kind of trouble. Because if they audit the server and see that nothing is there and that maybe something was there like momentarily and then got deleted or whatever, they couldn't possibly hold you liable for that. That would be ridiculous. Okay, we are going to Ginger's show in about 5 minutes. I'm going to send you guys over earlier than normal just so I have time to take a break and then they don't have to kind of wait on me over there. Make sure you guys have gone through the diligence of hitting the like button. Check your renewals and your primes. All gifted members, renewed members, new subs, renewed subs from here on out are gonna get rolled over to next week. So currently you guys already have 22 members for next week, okay? As soon as we hit 750, I'm like, okay, that was the goal. I don't have any other incentives for you, so everything extra rolls over. So if people show up tomorrow and renew and all of that, we're gonna roll that over to next week to make it a little bit easier for you guys to hit the goal each week, rather than just have you guys being kind and then instead of doing it next week and helping with the goal, you do it now and it doesn't really go to a goal. Does that make sense? So that's how we're going to do that. So appreciate you guys so much in the ongoing support of the channel. Make sure, again, you're hitting subscribe and the bell button. A really big thing that you guys should be doing as well is if you got a gifted member, somebody else just paid for you to get into the Discord for an entire month. Like, you should get in there and kind of hang out. Get a feel for it. It's just an app that you download. And you make an account, and you've got different rooms you can go in, and different members of the community that you can talk to and play games with. I think sometimes people are like, I don't know what Discord is. I don't want to go in there. Like, it really is an extension of what we do here. It's just a place for you to hang out with the community. There's a town hall that's going to be happening this evening. That's where I do Green Room. You can also listen to the show in there. If you're ever in a situation where you don't have access to YouTube or Twitch, you can listen to the show in there. I have a stage where I talk, and right now you can hear me talking in there. Some very generous people just paid for you to have access to our Discord for an entire month. And if you get in there and decide you kind of like it, then, maybe you'll grab your own membership next month to keep it going. So as long as you are following the Twitch channel or subscribed to the YouTube, you should not be missing the content. Make sure your notifications are turned on. But that's another great thing about the Discord. You will get pinged whenever the content goes live. Okay? Hang on, I just realized I need to set up redirect. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, wait. Hang on. Ignore that on Twitch. Ignore that. We raid on Twitch. We don't go to YouTube on Twitch. Ignore that. Raid Ginger Prime TV. There you go. Oh, yeah, Ginger, you have sub-only running on Twitch. And last week when everybody went over, they said it was like 10 minutes. If you don't, it's your channel. Do whatever you want. But the people that went over couldn't take part in the stream for like the first 10 minutes, I think. So, not a huge deal. I had some people say that. They're like, hey, we couldn't talk. So, all right. You guys on YouTube, click the link in chat. I'll see you guys over there for the stream with Ginger. And thank you guys so much again for all the immense support today. What an insane turnaround. We'll see you tomorrow night if you don't come over to this show. See you tomorrow night with Madam, 8 p.m. on Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. It's a really, really fun time. And make sure you guys are there for that.